We are live with episode 6.
We're here.
Of
We survived the Arnold.
Strength Shop podcast.
What episode?
Episode 6.
6. Yeah.
Yes.
We knew that.
We
We're not that.
So we survived the Arnolds. More importantly, we survived the bathrooms. If you're familiar with
The organizers
excellent-
survived. I think that was the ones who were going to possibly come out
If you're
scathed.
That's true. If you're familiar with the Massonomics meme, though,
But I just got to see.
good call. The bathrooms were actually really good this year.
They were.
Everyone's talking about how horrible the bathrooms are, and I'm like, this is no
I think
different
it's
than
the
any other
people
year.
more so than the bathrooms, because there was
It
one
might
I
have
went
been.
into. There was 4 shitters and 1 piss everywhere. It's like, how does that happen? You know what I mean? It was almost to the point where it was funny. Me and Billy Hornaday went in, and he was right behind me, and I needed to stall, and Billy needed to stall, and there's guys in there obviously checking their Facebooks or whatever, and I'm like, "Okay, boys, hurry up! There's a line up for the shitter," and 2 of them giggled, and I'm like looking at the there was a mop there, and there was piss everywhere in this one, and I'm like, should I just? I'm going into dad mode. Should I just clean it up already or what?
Just clean it up yourself. I don't think that's usually the answer, but at the Arnold's it might have been. But for the most part, I was pleasantly surprised. I was expecting like World War III in there, and they were fine.
Well, our group chat was blowing up about the bathrooms there, but I'm like, we were there last year, and last year they were pretty good. So
No,
I was like, yeah.
No, it was pretty good. So honestly, though, for my first Arnold, overall, very enjoyable experience. I know there were some issues with how the show ran.
What about the expo? Start with the expo. What do you think?
The expo was awesome.
Yeah.
Honestly,
The expo was great.
It was less than I expected, admittedly.
It was smaller. It was probably, honestly, 20% smaller than last
Well,
year.
it almost looked like a bunch of booths just didn't show up.
Well, I heard
Because they
that they
were
were
big
charging almost
gray.
double this year. Last year, I
Really?
think for a small, like the maybe the Massonomic size one, you know those guys. That smaller booth was I think $4,000, and then this year it was $7,000 for the same booth. Was what I was told. Yeah. And
That
I
would
think those that
explain-
young LA. I think they paid like 60 or 80 grand for that booth for the weekend.
Well,
Plus all the gear and the signs and the.
just insanity. And
was
like,
silliness,
I know it was new organizers, so maybe something to do with it. I don't know. I'm not sure if that show was running at a profit or a loss. Who knows?
Yeah.
But I know that, there were a lot of spots on the carpet that were just empty gray on like Friday. And I'm like, did booths just not show up?
Yeah. Because last year Bells of Steel had a big booth. There was a lot of bigger booths with equipment. They had full powerlifting going on in the middle. They had one little area that had monolifts and actual powerlifters doing stuff. Aside from the animal cage. The animal cage is the animal cage. That draws a lot of attention.
Yeah, it was, like I said, it was honestly a really good time. I was a little surprised. I mean, Saturday was packed busy, but I was a little surprised that there wasn't just more there. You know, I'm like, we're in Ohio. I would expect like an Elite FTS booth.
Elite would be nice, yeah.
But that would be a great booth. They had a lot of stuff that I'd like to get my hands on and try.
Yeah. I didn't see an Evolution booth.
I didn't bother going to... Well, so it was Brian's birthday weekend. So Brian Shaw, like it's his birthday weekend. I know he usually goes with his booth, so maybe that was something there. I mean, he's got all his athletes are competing.
Yep. I was disappointed with the SBD booth.
Yeah, there wasn't.
Just
they had
black
no
and red.
colorways.
Yeah, just black and red. I already have black and red. Like
There was the SBD booth almost existed more to meet the athletes
It did.
than it
Yeah,
did
it was
to,
a- it
which
was
was
athlete
great.
focused,
I mean,
yeah.
met Tom Stoltman.
Oh, for sure.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
But it's like it was more there to facilitate interactions than it was as a booth.
Yeah,
And honestly, it kind
for
of felt
sales.
like a lot of the booths were there more to facilitate interactions versus selling product.
Yeah.
The only one would be like, I mean, Junk had a great booth. They had everything. I know
Yeah.
Shelby bought like 8 headbands.
the headband lady. The girls in their headbands. We should start wearing them, I guess, too.
Honestly, yeah. I'll grow my hair back out long.
Problem is, it shows the bald spot on the top there. I need like a yarmulke more than
Just put it backwards. You know, have the headband up here around your chin. It's a beard band.
Yeah.
The beard band is the
beard
new trend.
bandana. I'll start something. I'll
There
make
you
something
go.
cool.
That's the way to do it.
I've been trying to make something cool for years and it hasn't worked.
No, maybe this is the one. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
That's 100% true.
So
That's 100% true.
But yeah, honestly, really enjoyable. There was a little bit of confusion because I know that. So I bought tickets to the pro show.
Yep.
Because my understanding was if you were competing in the pro-am, you didn't automatically get tickets, which is fair. It's a big event. I get that.
Yep.
But when I walked up, I had my competitor badge around, and they just let me in.
But that was just that one guy.
Well, no, it was a couple guys. There was one
I saw the
lady.
ladies.
There was
Yeah,
one
there was-
lady who gave me a really hard time with it, but then the guy next to her let Billy in.
Okay.
So I just kind of went,
Yeah, 'cause you texted
you just
us.
let him in. Like,
Yeah.
what are you doing here? So then she let me in. While he's playing hide and seek in the tool chest there.
We'll try to get him to make a.
So
debut.
So yeah, she let me in, and then she let me in when she realized that Billy was there, and I'm like, look, I bought tickets, I can show
Yeah.
you to, but you guys haven't asked them all weekend.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just as frustrated as you are because I paid for tickets, and now I don't know if I needed them or not.
Yeah.
So it was really unclear. I mean, it worked out for me because
Worked out
I
for me
just,
too.
Well, yeah, I just ended up standing at the front with
Yeah.
the best seats in the house.
Yeah, you texted us and we were like, we'll try to get in. I know I have to pay for tickets, but I'm like, I'll try the participant thing or whatever. I walked up to the guy and I'm like, oh yeah, we're participants. He's like, yeah, just go.
Yeah. So that
But
was
then
nice.
after that, we were trying to leave and I thought, maybe I can duck out and come back in. The lady was like, you're not coming in without scanning this barcode. There was the 2 lanes were like, there was absolutely no entry. You'll stand there for 20 minutes until you show the barcode.
Wow.
So we just stayed and then we ended up leaving. We didn't watch the frame carry. I just wanted to see the deadlift, but
Yeah, I watched the
anticlimactic,
deadlift
but-
and then went out, got a rain, came back in, got another rain.
this is pretty much the story of your
The
weekend.
theme of the
I got a rain.
weekend. I got a rain.
My car
Or
drove home
7.
squatted right out from all the energy drinks you guys were getting.
I share. I share.
It's true, yeah.
You can't fault
I
me
definitely
for that.
grabbed that. I was grabbing energy drinks from anybody. Give me
Yeah,
one
it
of
was
those.
great. I will say the 3 cases that I grabbed at the end of the day were not very good.
No?
It's like the Oxy Shred or something.
That's why they're giving them away.
Yeah, they weren't.
I'm like,
they weren't.
what kind of
they were
business
okay.
plan to give away a
They're
case?
okay, but they weren't amazing.
Right.
Like good enough for free, but if I bought it for $2 at a gas station, I'd be like,
Yeah, or
disappointed.
5.
Yeah, well, it's what it
American.
costs now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I came home with it was like 30 rains. Something that I counted. It was a lot of rains. Very happy. Those are for competition days only. So Shelby got one today, but I won't have one for quite a while now.
Yeah.
So that'll be nice.
They're
There's
a
Keystone. Keystone will have one.
Heck
But
yeah.
yeah, honestly, and then I came back in. The deadlift was it was a deadlift. Like I think it's exciting for me because it's my first time there. I know a lot of people are sick and tired of all the max deadlifts, and I agree with that because you're expecting these guys to improve. But last year they had a max event at Arnold's, Smo, and the Rogue.
Yep.
I think Worlds was the only event they didn't have a max deadlift at.
Right.
And then some of those guys, you had the
But
World Deadlift
you-
Championships.
You can't fault the max deadlift being exciting. When
I
somebody's
can't
grinding,
fault it, but I can look at the promoters and say, I understand you all want this in your show, but no one's hitting PRs anymore.
that's true. Yep.
Like no one's
The
improving.
smaller guys are catching up to the top guys, but the top guys aren't getting the top isn't getting pushed any higher because now you're getting the
Yeah.
guys that were pulling 9, pulling upwards of 1,000. Like there could have been a few more cracks at 1,000. I think.
There could have been a few more cracks. I mean, the thing too is that as soon as Thor shows up, everyone just knows he's going to win.
Yeah.
Which is
so
fair.
you
I mean,
jockey for position, you play on points then, and
Yeah, and I think that's
what you're
totally
gonna do.
reasonable
Yeah.
and totally fair to say. I mean, disappointing he didn't get the 501. All his training looked really, really good leading up to it. I think
Yeah.
because he pulled that 1036 3 weeks out, and I was like,
that was
yeah,
fast.
that moved well.
Yep.
And then 1026 moved worse than that did. I think I went back and listened to the stream, but apparently Laws kind of went, oh. When he pulled that. And Tristan said something similar.
Yeah.
Tristan Hoth. And yeah, it didn't have the speed. No. Props to him for still trying it. Even though
Wow,
it's
you're
trust, but I mean,
traveling,
he
there's a
didn't
lot of
even,
variables there,
Yeah.
like-
What was the thing? I mean, honestly, I said like I've always been a Thor fan. This show, just seeing him in person and how he interacts with people, I'm really a Thor fan.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's bouncing his kid on his knee between seats.
Yeah.
He's going to
Just
see
a
his
nice
family
guy,
between
yeah.
events, and
well,
even
entourage, they all seem like really nice people too. Like they're-
but even when I went to meet him, like he was late because
Yeah.
no one bothered to tell him where he was supposed to be. So they had to go and find him. I'm like, how do you lose the mountain?
how do you lose the mountain?
He lost the mountain.
Yeah.
It's like, it's the expo, it's busy, but he's this high above everybody else, right?
Yeah.
And so, but even when I met him, like he asked me, he's like, oh, like you're a big guy. Like, do you compete? I said, well, yeah, I'm on JF's circuit. Like,
Yeah.
So I kind of said, it was, oh, like Tristan says hi. And he's like, you know Tristan? He got so excited. He's like, tell him I say hi. Like, I miss him. I'm like,
because his family's from Alberta,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
But until he trains at Tristan's gym, but I'm just like,
Yep.
man, the fact that I mention I'm on JF's circuit and you just immediately think like my buddy Tristan.
Yeah.
It's like, man, that's pretty genuine to me.
Yeah.
Right. Like he made the connection, boom, right there.
Yeah.
That was
Because
really
their circle
cool.
probably isn't as big as we all think it is of the people that they know. You know what I mean? Like they're at the top level, and you're going to associate with the lower levels, but you're maybe not going to associate down to like the amateur series there. But the pro circuit there. Once you have JF, and then you're following JF stuff. JF is JF. If it was somebody else in charge of that circuit, A lot of people might not know.
But it is, but it was just kind of strange where I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of like one person removed from Thor. Like,
You're basically Thor's buddy.
I've talked to Tristan and like, DMs. So I haven't actually met him. I'll meet him at Westerns.
Yeah.
But it's like I've talked to Tristan. I've talked to Jeffers. Like, and it's weird to me that, oh yeah, right. Like, there's one person of connection between me and Thor.
Yeah.
Right. Like even at Nationals, like Dan Bartlett is a guy out in Ontario.
Okay.
And he just knows Hooper. He's at his gym.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, it's weird.
Yeah, because Hooper does pop into some of the amateur shows there. Like everybody says Hooper's completely removed from strongman, but all the guys I lifted with from Ontario have all been at shows where he's helping or whatever, amateur shows. He shows up. They're close to home, so he just goes,
like,
you know what I mean?
Honestly, like I met Hooper at the Lift Heavy Be Kind booth on Sunday morning.
Yep.
And basically just I introduced myself. I'm like, hey, he's like, oh, like, are you a competitor? I went, well, I'm on JF circuit. And I kind of see him go like, he's like got a little defensive. And I'm like, yeah, like I told him because I'm like, I know you get a lot of flack, man, but like, you know, there's a lot of us who like you.
Yeah.
Because like honestly, like I mean, I'm sure I'll get shredded for this, but I like the guy.
I'm gonna shred you.
Sure, but I'm like, I have nothing against him.
Yeah.
But as soon as I said that, he just.
Right.
You just see like all the tension left him. We had a nice conversation.
Yeah.
And then we were waiting for Thor, and Hooper was at the booth too. And I'm like, I feel kind of bad for him. He's just sitting up there. I was like, oh, I forgot to get him. I was going to get him to sign my hat.
Yep.
Because I had like my Iron Image hat that I wear for competitions half the time.
Right.
And so I ran up and he's like, he remembered me. He's like, oh, hey man, like how's the expo been? I'm like, oh, it's good. And we were talking. I'm like, oh, like this kind of screws up your schedule. And we were having a conversation.
Yeah.
Super nice guy. Like we
them
went
are,
up for the picture because Shelby and I went up for the picture with Hooper and Thor, and he recognized Shelby, and him and her were having a joke. And like, you know, I was joking with Thor, and I'm like, yeah, like these are nice people. Like if you just get to know people, they're not that bad.
Because people get scared too to talk. They want to jump in, get a selfie, and go. But it's like a lot of these guys will actually talk if you talk. Like when you're hanging around, once we got into the pro show there, and they're just walking around, you can walk up to almost any of them going to the bathroom, and they will stop and talk.
Yeah.
Or it's not they're not like, oh, I'm better than you. You know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
none of them have like security guards in front of them. They're not.
Well, imagine being a security guard for the mountain. That'd be kind of hilarious, but
I mean, like Arnold, he has his little security crew, and people are gaga.
What,
That's Arnold.
75 years old.
That's Arnold. That's a little different story. Yeah.
But I mean, even well, actually, because I ran into Nathan Payton on my way when I first got into the show, I ran into him, and he recognized me. And again, it's like just such a nice guy, right?
Yeah.
But then I was joking with him. I was like, "Oh, hey, you did a good job with Devin. He's not like a complete fat slob anymore." And he just lost it laughing. So it's like, shout out Devin Penner. You know, it's Nathan's friend.
Devin was laughing because he's talking to Nathan, and Nathan thought he was coming to the show for us or whatever, and I guess he told him no, he wasn't coming. So Nathan instantly took a cheat meal away from that weekend. Takes away a cheat meal. Devin's like, son of a bitch.
Honestly, fair. You deserved it, Devin. Should have been there. We missed you. Shelby had to fill in.
Yeah. Shelby was our honorary Devin.
Yeah, honorary
She
Devin.
called me a piece of shit and told me to get stronger.
She did good in that case.
She did good.
Just much better looking. Has more hair.
That's true. On her face. I mean, don't hate me.
But yeah, honestly, the expo was really good. I didn't watch the pro show the second day. I just kind of stuck around at the hotel until about 1:30. And that's where things kind of started to go downhill for the
That's
weekend.
when they started to unravel.
I watched the Big Jerk because like I wanted to see that event in person. I'm glad I didn't go because like just it was a long day.
Yeah.
My feet were feeling it. Whatever.
That's one of those catch-22s. Normally, you wouldn't want to do that much walking, but it's the Arnolds, and it's like...
I'll see Arnold's, but also like I was a mover. I'm used to being on my feet.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't. It's like it's irritating, but I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm not fatigued.
Yeah. You did very well once you got going.
Yeah, exactly. But so once I got going, and so, but yeah, I messaged Billy. I'm like, oh, like when you heading down to the venue, he's like, oh, I'm here. I'm just like chilling in the side room. One weird thing is like they wouldn't let you lay down anywhere.
Okay.
So I guess they just thought he was dying. So Billy's like finds a little nook and he's like laying down with his hat over his eyes and his headphones on. And they're like, "Are you okay, sir? You can't lay down." And he's like, "What? I'm a competitor. I'm just trying to catch a nap." They're like, "No."
Yeah.
They just thought he was dead.
Oh.
Which I'm like, honestly, with most open weight
True.
competitors,
If you had 30 people, how would you manage?
but also with most open weight competitors, like, yeah, it's fair.
And that one person did die.
Yeah, that's really sad.
Yeah. I thought it was a competitor on their
she was,
pro
what, like,
debut.
20?
Yeah.
That's
She just wanted to look
tragic, man.
cute for the booth.
Which, like, fair. I mean, like, if that's how you make your money, like, I get it. I can't imagine dehydrating yourself to look good at an event.
Yeah.
Because also, too, like, unless you're on the stage, stage lean doesn't really look that great. You got like
No.
the death face and stuff.
Yeah.
But like, man, is that sad.
Yeah.
Just like a 20-year-old.
But then I don't understand an eating disorder either. Like they can do that they can turn their brain off from the need to eat at all and literally starve themselves till they die.
Well, that's what I mean. It's
And
one of those,
I can't wrap my
it's
head
one of
around
those
that,
things
so-
I can't understand.
Yeah.
And it breaks my heart that like someone did pass away at the
Yeah.
Arnold there.
Yeah.
That is really, really upsetting.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it happens. Like we
Yeah.
know it happens in the
Yeah.
sport, but to have it happen kind of that close to home is kind of like, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bro.
That turned morbid quick. Dad joke?
That joke? Yeah. I don't have one.
But yeah,
But
so
anyways, yeah.
basically, yeah, Billy said, he's like, yeah, like they're running late. And this is like 1:30. I'm like, what do you mean they're running late? It just started.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, the log's taking forever. I'm like, okay. Well, I'm sure they'll make up the time on the other events. So I'll calm down. So I think I came down about like, maybe 1:30, 2 o'clock-ish.
Yeah, and you were supposed to start at 4, right?
Athletes were supposed to arrive at 3. We're supposed to start at 4. So I was like, well, I'll go down a little early. I'll hang out with Billy. I'll see people. You know, Tom and Matt were around the venue. Speaking of people wanting to talk, I think that was my favorite thing. So for those of you unfamiliar with Dr. Density, Rick Boogs, he was at a booth and Tom was waiting. There's a big line.
Yeah.
So Tom gets up there and he says to him, he's like, hey, like I want a gym. Can you like film a quick clip about the
that guy.
mindset?
Okay, yep.
The mindset, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm thinking, he's like, oh, he'll get like a 16, 30-second clip, something like that.
Yeah.
Did he tell you how long that video went for?
No.
3 minutes and 46 seconds.
He just went off, eh?
Yeah.
What
And
did
that's
he
like,
post? Did he post just a chunk of it? Or
he just posted, I'm not sure actually. I didn't watch
I watched the whole thing.
Yeah. I think he must have posted a chunk. 'Cause I think Instagram only lets you go so long. It's like a minute.
2 minutes, I think, or something.
Yeah, but it's 3 minutes and 46 seconds.
Wow.
And so if you haven't seen the clip, go over to Iron Image's Instagram page because
Did he post it as a
He posted it as a reel.
Okay, yep.
He better have.
Yeah, 'cause
But
that's
so now anytime we see him at the gym, we're just going, Tom! Spelled Tahhm.
honorary Asian?
As the Boog. And Boogs followed him.
Oh, yeah.
In the gym, which is pretty
Nice.
cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, Tom out there getting some clout. And then Matt's just a magnet. He ran into, on the first day, he ran into Phil Heath, Kai Green, Jay Cutler, Ronnie Coleman. I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, what the heck? He just ended up running into
crazy.
everybody.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I showed up to the expo and then I just met up with Billy. We're hanging out. And he's like, they're running more behind. I'm like, great. I was like, has Josh started? He goes, no.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, well, Josh was supposed to start an hour and a half ago.
Yeah.
So finally Josh starts. And we're watching Josh and we're pumped because we love Josh.
Yep.
Even though he's, revoked his pro card and gone down to 120, got all skinny. JF kicked him off the circuit. Rest in peace.
Still got a wicked beard, though.
He's got a great beard.
Yeah.
Fantastic beard.
I love that beard.
It's a wonderful beard. Just want to hug it all time. But so we go watch Josh and we're looking and we're like, it's like 4 o'clock and they're just starting the trap bar deadlifts. We're supposed to start at 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
And
Expo closes at 7.
the expo closes at 7.
It's already not enough time for you to do your whole
Yeah,
show.
this got pretty bad. And so they went and they cut the yoke down to 30 feet, which fair. I'm not sure if it really saved as much time as they were thinking it was going to.
It's still a full minute event.
It's still a full minute event.
How
And
far you go.
there's still going to be people who don't finish it.
Yeah. Yeah. You probably have at least more that don't finish, but still there's only the crew was short. The crew was a little small.
It wasn't that fast. And again,
Andrew Wilson ended up jumping in to help because there
yeah.
just wasn't
And
enough
so
people.
again,
Yeah.
this
Shout
is
out Andrew, good
not
job.
this is not a knock on anyone. The volunteers were phenomenal.
they worked their asses
were
off, yeah.
working. They all looked like they wanted to die by the end of the day.
There's
Which,
a lot of
like,
weight
fair
changes.
play.
Yeah.
There was a lot of weight changes.
But the problem was they didn't really have a system either. They had all the weights in one spot and they're rolling all the trap bars to this one localized area. Whereas it's easier to do a weight change in powerlifting because it's boom, the weights are right there. You know what I mean? So maybe future consideration would be to have those trays of weights a little closer so you can just bang, bang and go. You know what I mean? I don't know how much time that would save, but
I don't know how much it would have saved.
you're really trying to split the atom. The way to save time is not have a max event in a weight
That
class
as
show.
well.
Yeah.
And then so the other thing they did to save the time was the sandbags were initially supposed to be at set distances from the bar, and they put them right up to the bar, so it became just a loading medley.
But it's still, the time cap was
Again,
the same.
Time cap was the same, and
It saved you a little bit of time in resetting.
but not that much.
No.
And honestly,
I actually like it because it took out the variable of setting them at wrong distances. You put them at the bar, you're running head to head.
That I
boom,
totally appreciate. It made the, I think that's how the event should have been from the get-go, because really it's just there to replace an Atlas stone run. That's all it is. Just no tacky.
And you don't walk with Atlas stones.
You don't walk. Well, they used to.
And the bags were heavy. Let's be honest.
The bags were very heavy.
So do you really need to add the trouble of walking?
No.
I don't think
I don't think they needed to. No. But the thing for me was, and I've said this, and I know we joke in the pros that the other weight classes don't mean as much as the open. Whatever. We're all there. We all pay the same amount of money. Everyone has the same right to compete. Everybody
drove out the same, and they're just as excited as anybody else.
Everyone is just as excited. It means just as much. At this show, the Pro-Am had a lot more on the line than the weight class athletes did. Just an invite to the Invitational is worth more than any world title.
Yep.
That is something that makes or breaks someone's career potentially.
Yep.
And that didn't sit right with me, that the time was allowed to compound all the way to the end of the day. It did not sit in the butt earlier.
I don't know how you dip it in the butt though, but there's almost no
honestly,
way to.
if they were going to cut an event, they should have cut the event from earlier in the day.
Who's to say? Just based on how would that person feel though?
But just based on what is on the line, I don't think anyone can argue that an invite to the Invitational supersedes a lot of things. Yeah, and you were gonna make someone angry no matter what.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But to me, there's more on the line there, and
that wouldn't be an okay angle for somebody to tell me their show means more than mine though. I would be fucking furious.
I'm not saying the show means more. I'm saying the outcome of the show means more.
It doesn't. It doesn't. Because U90 athletes can get invites to PSL. They can get. They're still. But
Arnold Classic, PSL.
That's true.
I'm sorry.
They're never going to get
$80,000 prize pot. $4,000 prize pot. It's just leagues are different, right?
It wouldn't sit well with anybody. If it wouldn't sit well with anyone because you said somebody else was more important. That wouldn't go well. I don't care.
You're going to anger somebody, and that was kind of my point. Is that
really they should have let everybody go through and figured it out the next day. If you have to change events a little bit, everybody goes through. You do 4 events. That's what that's a way to salvage that. I do believe.
But I don't think they had the space available to do it. And that's what I mean. And
well,
I don't know.
You go with what they did. You throw in an axle instead of the hoist or whatever. You got to throw in something quick.
That was different, right? It was
different. But I'm just saying, what you had to do something. You ran into a problem. You had to call an audible. They called an audible. You ran into another problem. You didn't call an audible. You just
the way I'm looking at it is that they set themselves up for failure. By cutting the Pro-Am. Like the Pro-Am should have been the first show out.
Yeah. Middle of the day, probably.
Right. Should have been middle of the day. Right.
Yeah, because it wasn't fun watching the guys that are gonna go far with no crowd.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing, right?
There's me yelling, "Go!" That was that's the hype.
But the other thing too is that now you're giving athletes more time to recomp weight. Yeah. It makes sense for the Open to go first to that expo. You're there during prime time. All the weight class athletes get some extra time to hydrate up and everything else. Yeah. And also too, like for some of those athletes, depending on like when they weighed in, at which point they weighed in, they might not have gotten a full 24-hour weigh-in because they were running it all morning. So if someone weighed in at like 2 o'clock and they competed at 11 a.m., right, you're not getting your full 24 hours. So in my mind, like I said, they should have. And again, this is my bias as an open athlete, but in my opinion, if you're going to offer an invite to the biggest show in strongman, you should have prioritized that invite.
You should have done a better.
The other thing too,
you should have done a better job mathing out the events because it's easy to go OSG's log. You've got 60 seconds. You're up once for 60 seconds. A max log is okay. You got 30 seconds. They trimmed it to be, but they weren't starting the clock in a pressured manner. They were starting the clock when you became ready. I had guys in my weight class going out with no belt, no wraps, and it's like waiting and waiting and waiting. And then once he's ready, then you give him the 30 seconds. No, if I'm running that show and I'm running out of time, athlete ready, clock starts. If you want to put your belt on now, that's good. You do whatever you want for 30. You have 30 seconds to lift that log. If you're not ready, we're at a pretty high level event there. You need to be ready. And then you have some guys clowning around out there. the one guy there, he sat there. Everybody knew it was running behind. He knew it was running behind. He's a 105 athlete, and he comes out there and he waits for them to load the log. He had no intention of lifting that log. He stands there, waits for them to load it up, gets his wrist straps on. They go, athlete ready. He jumps up on the log and starts posing, and then elbow drops the mat, and he's having a clown time. And I'm sitting there going, this is behind. Those open athletes, if they see you clowning around, killing time, they're going to eat you for dinner. Like, you are taking your life into your own hands. You're wasting time intentionally for no good reason. I'm like, that is ignorant. That's all I care. That's all there was to it. I'm like, that was the rudest thing somebody could individually do. He was the last one by himself. All the other 3 lanes were empty. Everybody's standing around. He's watching them load. Probably 3 full minutes. But 3 full minutes, when you trim here, you trim there, you trim here, you trim there, that adds up to a lot of time. 3 full minutes for everybody, not just 3 full minutes for you. You know what I mean?
Well, it was really frustrating just because the way that, think about it too, and this is where I say, like, I don't want to say, like, again, it means more or whatever, that's arbitrary.
Yep.
But from a business standpoint, so next year, Andrew Burden is going to go to the Invitational. Congratulations, well deserved.
Yep.
Well, people don't know who he is.
Yep.
So people who are fans of the main show, like Nick Guardione, right?
Yep.
They're going to go look at it and they're going to say, okay, who is this guy? What do I know about him? Oh, well, he won the Arnold Amateur last year. Okay, well, then they're going to go back and look. What happened?
Yeah.
Right? And people are going to be confused. Like, oh, well, this is how it's supposed to run and this is what. And there's articles all over the place.
Yeah.
So, like, again, I'm not saying that anyone's show is more important than another, but from a business standpoint, you've now exposed yourself to people next year dragging this up all over again.
Yeah.
Because now people are going to go and look up this Andrew Burden guy and find out he won that show. And from there, you're going to get linked to all the Reddits and stuff that are basically bashing the showdown. So now, in the organizers, like for James and Strongman Corps, in their defense, they have handled the aftermath with a lot of grace.
Yeah.
They released a statement yesterday basically apologizing, and anyone who didn't make the finals will get free registration next year.
Yeah.
Which I thought was kind of strange because the guys in the finals were just as inconvenienced as anybody else. So, like, hey, Andrew Burden won. He's good at loading, let's say. But let's say the order got shaken up. There's prize money on the line. Maybe a guy who came in seated 8th with that sandbag medley would have come in seated 4th.
Right.
So it did play with the seeds.
Oh, it definitely plays with position.
Right?
Yep.
And that's where I say, I'm like, well, we should have had... It just doesn't sit right with me that you're deciding the finals for a ticket to the Invitational on 3 events.
Yeah, no, it's not right.
That doesn't sit right. And so I think, honestly, again, the reparation, in my opinion, should be extended to the finals athletes as well. Because, again, like, hey, those guys, that loading medley may have changed their seating.
Yep.
And I think it's only fair that
for
they
the good or for the bad.
For the good or for the bad. And either way, though, it has to come as it lays.
Yep.
And I think that they could have also had done.
That's a lot of money too, though. Like they need that money to run that show. Still,
it is a lot, and that's what I mean.
Like,
they are digging into their pockets. They're putting it where their mouth is. I respect.
Hopefully,
that,
they don't just put that on the other athletes next year and crank up the.
That was so. Just for anyone listening, the registration this year was $250.
Yeah.
Keep that in the back of your head. If you didn't compete this year and you plan on going next year.
Yep.
So it's a good point, and I hope that's not the case. I get it; they have to make their money somewhere. You would hope that they can plan or find sponsorship to cover that difference.
Yeah.
And also, too, it depends on how many people are actually going to come back.
Yeah.
I don't know, right?
It spoiled a lot of. Because everybody in the end got trimmed a little bit. Like the first heat got everything normal, and then the next heat started getting trimmed. The last heat really got trimmed. And then they trimmed it into the next day into our show. We got trimmed. We got a full grip event trimmed and shortened yoke, which whatever. I'm fine with that. And I was okay. I was happy with the sandbags. The way we were supposed to have 5 sandbags, they dropped it down to 4. Whatever.
Did you only do 4?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, we had 2 and 2. 2 at 48 and 2 at 44.
Okay. Honestly, I didn't even notice that. Yeah.
Yeah. But
everyone
it's not fun when you get trimmed. Yeah.
No, I think it left a lot of sour tastes in a lot of people's mouths. And I think that a lot of people probably aren't going to go back next year because of that, and that's really unfortunate. I mean, I hope that's not the case, but
I hope there's a lot of lessons to be learned, and I hope they learn them, because you can run it. You can run a show really well. OSG runs very, very well.
Did you read the Reddit write-up that James made?
No.
He went into a lot more details, like how things went wrong and what went wrong.
Okay.
And it sounds like he's very aware of where the faults in the show were and what he needs to do to make them better next year. Mm-hmm. So that's positive, at least. We'll see. Like I said, I haven't really watched any of the stream back because it's behind a paywall. But yeah, I said, honestly, all things said, I'm happy with my performance given the circumstances.
You did great, yeah.
I mean, hit a log PR, had a lot left in the tank. A lot.
Yep. No, that flew.
No, I'm not mad at that. But again, never touched those logs. This might be sacrilege. I'm still not sure if I like those logs.
It's not my preferred log.
Yeah, I'm still...
Honestly, the most comfortable
Can I borrow your can?
My what?
Your can? Thank you.
Yeah, man.
So, that's about the length of the handle. And
yeah, it was literally the size of your hand.
Was smushed on both sides.
Yeah. Did you find it felt like the handle wasn't in the center?
It did. And
mine felt like that, yeah.
I know it was. Instinctually, I know it was. Because
right.
I know Slater's been doing this a long time. He knows where the center is.
Yeah.
He knows how to find center.
I'm sure. I'm not even balanced wise, but sunk in. Is that what we're talking about? The same thing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And I know instinctively that it is.
Yeah.
It is. But
it just looked weird.
It felt
Optics.
strange. It was weird. And like I said, just the fact my hands were smushed. I mean, I have big meat hooks.
Yeah.
Like, it was weird to have my hands smushed in there.
That's the first thing I thought too.
And it felt weird. I know I'm centered.
Yep.
But I couldn't move my hands at all to confirm it.
Yep.
So beautiful logs. Very.
And
happy
normally
with
your
how I
hand
pressed.
feels like it's sunk into the log. Like you have the holes. A 12-inch log is a 12-inch log. When you have your hands in it, you're like, no, my hands are...
loud there.
Oh, sorry.
Just watch your audio.
Keep coming down here.
Yeah, you're screaming at the people.
But
no, you're right.
No, when your hands are in a log, you know they're in the log, right?
Yes.
This one, it kind of was like, is this going to clean right? When I picked it up, I'm like, oh, I hope this thing cleans properly, because I couldn't... It was 260... Mine was 260 pounds empty, so my opener was 268. So... Or my opener was 258. It was the empty log.
Log. It was. Yeah, it was something heavy, empty. I'm disappointed I didn't get to press on that giant log
that
because
they
split us. Right, I was bummed about that. I just didn't open heavy enough. I think if I'd opened the next increment up, I would have been on the next log over.
Oh, in that lane.
It is what it is. I'll come back and hopefully they have another log event. I'd love to press on that thing. I'm sure I will at some point.
Yeah.
But I did like the log. It
was a neat picture anyway.
I mean, it worked out. It worked out well in the end. I ended up hitting 338, which is a PR.
Yep.
Jeffers kindly pointed out that I had done 320 for reps at Westerns, but I've never hit 338.
One rep is one rep.
330 was my max ever in training.
Yeah. And I had
all
the time, half a kilo,
and I
quarter
had
kilo.
a ton in the tank.
Oh, yeah.
I very firmly feel like I could have hit the 358 if I had to.
Yep.
But again, based on training and stuff, like most of my log prep was pretty weird. It wasn't clicking.
Yep.
And a lot of it's just me trying to figure out technique and stuff. And I mean, shout out Sean Hayes and Larson Hare. Like, they pointed out that my knee angle was dramatically different how I had been pressing versus how I'd pressed at Westerns. So I changed that around, and then it kind of came back pretty quick. Yep. And like the last week of prep, it showed up. I'm like, oh, finally, here we go. I thought about warming up heavier, but then they started rushing us through. And I'm like, I'm not going to open up heavier if this is how it's going to be.
Yep.
Like, I was trying desperately to get warm-ups, and everything felt really good, but I'm like...
Well, you're a powerlifter.
You
know what
much.
you need to do. Yeah, you need to have that first... Yeah. You need to get one on the board.
The opener should be easy.
Because there's too many people missing openers.
Yeah. But the thing was, they were all 20-pound jumps. So I'm not going to go opener 40-pound jump, right? Like, it just didn't make sense. No. In hindsight, could have done that.
Yeah.
But again, honestly, even the 328... or 318 or whatever, I could have done that because I did double 320.
Yeah.
But again, I've been around there all day. It's warm. I don't know this log. Everything's terrible. Like, so I ended up going with the conservative option. Not mad at it. It worked out okay. And I leave that show. I'll touch on this more later, but I leave that show with a lot left in the tank.
Yeah.
So that's positive. It's like, okay, it's in the right direction. It's moving well, and it gives me positive that I can put up something good on the axle at Westerns.
Yep.
The trap bar deadlift, kind of same thing. Prep was going well enough where I think on a good day I could have had a crack at 900.
Yep.
the way I was feeling after all the warm-ups and how crowded and how stressful it was back there, I was warming up, and I was looking at Shelby, I'm kind of like, I don't know about this.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's smart. And so I hit a couple warm-ups, felt pretty good. Sat back, hey buddy. I sat back, and then next thing you know, I'm looking at a bunch of the other guys. And guys are warming up to 825. So I'm like, I know these are guys who are planning to take a crack.
Oh,
it's my brand new sweater.
I'll throw them out. In a second.
That's fine. And I'm thinking, I'm like, there's a bunch of guys here who I can tell are going to take a crack at 900.
Yep.
Based on the fact they're warming up to 825. That tells me they're going to take a crack at 900.
Right.
And so I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, these guys are not looking good at 825. So I said to Shelby, I'm like, I think I'm just going to take the light bar and try to win the light bar.
Right.
Which ended up being a good call because that's exactly what I did.
Right. You won the light bar?
I won the light bar. I had 9 reps on the light bar.
Yep.
And there were a lot of guys who I really thought were going to beat me in that event who I ended up sneaking out ahead of because they went for the heavy one. They missed it, and they ended up with they ended up, this is amazing, they ended up with less reps because they had to run back and lose time. And so one guy who, really nice guy, and I feel really bad for, was that Mateus kid from Poland.
Okay.
Such a nice dude. But like you would tell he was frustrated. Obviously, I'd be frustrated. I flew from Poland too. I mean, like he's strong. I think he finished 9th.
Yeah.
That loading medley, he would have been right near the top. He's kind of like me and Billy, just much more statically strong.
Right.
But he can move. He's tall. He's lanky. And so like I beat him.
Right.
But he was hitting 900 in training. I'm like, okay, well, this was the right decision.
Yeah. 900 in training from the right height, or
yeah, he was hitting like proper reps at 900.
Yeah.
But again, like, rushed toe, tired. He took the crack at it. I think he only got 6 reps on the light bar because of the time to strap in.
Yeah.
Which on that kabuki bar was substantial.
Yeah.
And that,
it was tricky.
As soon
it
as
was
I
tight,
started,
like the hole underneath was tight.
And as soon as I started strapping in, I was like, okay, this is the right choice.
Yeah.
So I got 9 reps on there. I tried for a 10th at the last minute, but the countdown was kind of rushing, so I rushed the pull.
Yeah.
So I was like, I had no chance. And that was fine.
Yeah.
And then I went back to warm up, or to sit. I'm gassed, right?
Yeah. It sucks your soul out. 8-9 reps.
Then the announcer, so I'm sitting there, I'm just dying in the back, right? Shelby's like pouring water down my throat. She's like, drink some water. I'm like, oh, just dying. Eating Rice Krispies. Nathan. Nathan doesn't listen.
And nerds. No.
Yeah, and nerd clusters. Yeah. Do you think Nathan listens?
He will.
We'll find out.
We'll get Devin to make him listen.
There we go. We're buddies. But so they announced like, all right, start warming up for yoke right away. I'm just like, no.
They had the girls running yokes behind the guys.
I'm just like, no.
Did
they?
Yeah.
I didn't see
There was 2 lanes of girls running yokes behind the trap bar deadlift that was still going on.
Had that started when I was pulling the trap bar?
No, after you. They started getting
okay.
a little bit crazier there, and then they pushed they pushed the bars ahead there, and they started setting up yokes, and I'm like, oh, this is chaos.
Well, it was chaos.
Yeah.
And so, but they're telling us to warm up for yokes. I'm just like, no.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it. I'm warm. I'm fine.
Once you're stimulated, you don't really. I'm not a big advocate for keeping on warming up,
It would
especially
be
when you're time constrained.
a
Like
different story if, like for example, Jocelyn, right?
Yep.
Hits 1 rep at the trump bar.
Yep.
You're not warm.
No.
You're not warm. You're warm. I hit 9 reps.
Yeah.
That's more exertion than a yoke run is.
Oh, for sure. Yep.
So I was plenty warm. I was good. I just hung tight and then went on the yoke. And I was, if you look at the video on my post, I just about took out that timer in the other lane because she stepped back into my lane and I was swerving because when I went out of that, I was still dizzy from the deadlift. I'm just like, whoa, I gotta get through this, right? So I swerve, I just about take her out. And you could see her jump out of the way and I moved.
Well, it was tight there. They're trying to dance around people, especially when your lanes are running close together.
Yeah, but also
I was way ahead of everybody on my lane, so
you're
I didn't
speedy.
have the same issue.
And actually, no, I was really happy with the yoke. It was quick.
Yep.
Transition was quick.
That was probably the
Acceleration was
best yoke
quick.
run ever. Yeah.
It was too short for me to go full Bambi.
Yeah. You're just starting to lose it, and then
I was just starting. I'm like, okay, I'm done.
there.
So, but no, it was quick. It was good. I was happy with that, and it puts me in a good position for that 1,000-pound yoke that we have at Westerns. Because again, that's like a 25-foot yoke.
Okay.
And then it's into the truck pull. So I'm like, okay, good. I can run a quick yoke for that distance, and it's not going to kill me because I was totally fine after that run.
Yeah.
1,000 pounds is different than 900, but you can't tell me it's that much different.
No. Would you do the run-in? Do you remember your time?
16.87.
Okay, that's fast. Yep.
Yeah, but I was sitting in 4th until the last heat, and then I dropped back to 7th.
Okay,
So,
that's still
again,
7th out of 29.
7th out of 29 or whatever.
that's
Not
fast.
too.
That's
not too
pretty
mad,
great, yeah.
Not too mad. And then everyone finished the yoke, and that's when my heart was broken.
Yeah.
Because they
Sandbag's
cut
your
the
jam.
sandbag medley.
Yeah.
That event,
That sucked, yeah.
loading is my jam. I've never lost a stone event.
Yep.
I mean, Westerns will probably be my first loss. I'll probably lose that stone event. But I've never lost a stone
That's an
run
okay one to
so
have
far.
your first loss at.
I'm not mad if I lose to Jeffers and stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm making some heavy stones, so never say never.
Well, yeah, never say never.
Yeah, things can happen. No, I won't win.
Yeah.
But I've never lost a stone medley. I was doing pretty well with sandbags the whole event. My deadlift was clicking. When my deadlift clicks, usually my loading clicks. I bought a sandbag and filled it. There's a massive sandbag. We had multiple.
You bought it, I filled it.
Yeah, yes. To be fair, I think that if you'd watched me fill it, you would have been more frustrated than
Yeah,
just filling
I
it
would have
yourself.
just emptied it and refilled it.
And also, too, I think that was when we were filming the first podcast episode, and I don't think you would have traded places with me on that for the world.
No, you did good there. we used our skills in
Yes,
the right way.
I do the tech, you just shovel dirt.
Yeah. And then I helped you plug in your mic.
Exactly. So, yeah, no kidding. So that was a bummer. I know Billy was pretty bummed too. And I'm not saying I would have made the finals, but
It leaves you with a coulda, woulda, shoulda. What could have happened? What could have happened?
so I'm confident of my loading. I think I could have cracked the top 10.
Yep.
I really do. On the other hand,
Because where did you finish?
13th.
13. Yeah.
On the other hand, I'm in a way glad that it was cut to the point where it is unanswered. It is unknown. I don't know if I would have done as well as I think or not.
Right.
And it's nice that I have that little bit of open-ended of like, okay, with my worst event, I mean, log is my worst event. I can accept that. Other than maybe a couple of grip events that I just haven't had a reason to train yet.
Right.
But it's like, log is one of my weaker events. The trap bar deadlift.
Your grip
we were
isn't bad.
rushed.
You had,
My
a good
grip's not
guinea, you had a good
bad.
guinea run in Westerns.
I hook gripped it.
Well, still.
That doesn't-
Grip's a grip. I mean,
No, hook grip is just how much do you hate yourself. I will.
sort of.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. There's an insight into my brain.
You still have to have somewhat of
You
a
have to
grip.
have somewhat of a grip.
Yes,
My
like
grip's not terrible,
yes,
but it's
terrible,
not up
yeah.
to par with what a strong man on the Canadian circuit needs to be,
Yeah.
in my opinion, personally. And so, I mean, we got Tristan double overhanding like 600-pound
That's
deadlifts.
a completely
like,
different
okay.
animal.
But you know what I mean? Like that's where I'm
that's
like,
absolute
okay.
world class grip.
That's what I want.
You gotta.
No.
You gotta,
No. Tristan and I are on the circuit. I must compare myself
you
to
must-
Tristan and
yeah, you
Jeffers.
must
That's
be
how this works.
the best in the world.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Like after 11
I
months, I have to
appreciate
be
your
the best.
excitement.
But yeah, so like I said, 13th in that field of guys with my best event cut and one of my worst events included. I'm really not mad at that.
Can light the fire, so now you just get better at sandbagging, get better and get better and
Yeah,
get better.
that's what I mean. Now I get to come back next year with a whole year of prep, knowing what the environment's like, knowing how to manage my time and my energy better and stuff.
You learn stuff from prep. You learn stuff from the show. You learn
Well,
stuff.
and also too, like that prep was not my best.
No.
Right? I mean, I came out of nationals slightly injured. Well, injured. Didn't press for like 6 weeks. Did a bunch of bodybuilding stuff, rehab stuff, and then
Obviously the right stuff.
Obviously the right stuff, but jumped into it. Prep was not good. Nothing really felt great. Towards the end, I was dropping accessories off because I just felt terrible.
Yep.
Didn't have the time off after nationals that I wanted, which is fine, right? But to know, like, hey, with a less than opportune prep coming off of a really heavy competition season in 24, I still managed to go out there and do well. Like, I'm not mad at that. It is what it is. Moving forward, like,
Out of 29 athletes, that's a pretty high finish. That's something
I'm
to
not
be proud
mad.
of. Yeah.
I'm not mad.
It's not even not mad. You should be proud.
I am proud. I am proud. Yes, I'm proud. But it gives me something to look forward to. And the nice thing
It
about
really shows that you belong. It shows that it's not a flash in the pan. It's not like a big fish in a small bowl. You're a big fish in a big bowl.
it's still weird to me that, like, it's not even been a year.
Yeah.
I think at the Arnolds it was like 11 months.
Yep. Not even a full year.
So I'm like,
Yeah.
it's strange.
I just think if you would have gave in 2 or 3 years ago when I was bugging.
Yeah, I know, right? I would have been younger and done it, but who knows? Might have been different, right? I don't
No,
know.
it is what it is. It came at the right time. Your powerlifting stuff was the baseline for where you are now. Years of training in a strength sport, years of dedication to nutrition, sleeping, eating. You know what I mean?
But also,
Stuff
well,
like
I don't know if you know this, but like, because during COVID, like, I got really lean.
Right.
I was like 250. No, I got to 256 was my lowest, I think.
Wow.
I have pictures. I had a 6-pack at 250.
Yeah?
Yeah. But I was running 5Ks 3 times a week in like
Yep.
sub 23 minutes kind of thing.
Okay.
So I was fast.
Yeah.
But I also think that like that and then coming back to powerlifting and building everything up off that athletic base really has helped me with
Oh,
strongman.
it has, yeah. Because you'll see guys come in as strongmen, like kids that are interested, and there's a few around, and they get good fast, but they don't have the years of strength training experience to still look uncomfortable, still look, you know what I mean? You can tell, like, I can watch a guy do a log and know that he's young and unseasoned, like, just doesn't know, you know what I mean? Strong, which is fine.
Strong.
But I can see, like, 15 holes in the whole thing, and it's like, if you learned, you would be really good.
Well, that's why I have to remind Shelby of all the time is because like she doesn't have a competitive athletic background at all. Like she's never played a sport in her life.
Right.
So she's like, oh, I just can't figure this form. I'm like, duh.
Yeah.
Like,
And that's almost better because then you don't have bad habits.
you don't have bad habits.
That's not better.
It's not
but,
better, but
there's
you're
for Shelby,
you're
it's
clay
working
to
out.
mold.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
She's moldable. She doesn't know. So if you can be hanging around with guys like us, like you're going to learn the right way the first time. You're not going to fart around our wisdom.
Wise graybeards.
But no, there's some value to it. I'm no coach, but I know, I know what I'm doing.
But in a way, you not being a coach is better because you just give them competitive insights.
Yeah.
Right? Like if you were saying, about, oh, I tried this in programming, it's like, you don't know what you're talking about that way.
Yeah.
But you know how to press a log.
Yeah.
I mean, that's more important for a new athlete than a coach who's like, oh, well, no, you need to do this and this to correct this. It's like, well, learn to do the thing first, right?
Yeah. And just sometimes pointing out what's wrong. Maybe you can't fix it that day.
No.
But at least you know what to look for going
You can
forward.
slowly
You know
address
what I
it.
mean? Like I've seen guys lifting logs today like this, and it's like, if once you learn,
Once you learn, you'll know.
Yeah.
Well, so, yeah, it's positive to me where it's like, okay, yeah, I've been in this 11 months. I held my own. Now I have the rest of the season to grow and get better and come back next year stronger.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to come back next year stronger because there's going to be a lot more guys vying for that invitational spot. A lot more guys.
Yep.
So we'll see how it goes. And with the way the competition season's shaping up, they're going to come ready. So it'll be good.
Everybody just gets readier and readier.
Yeah. Like, end of the day, good show. Not the pro debut Billy and I were hoping for. But you know what? We got to hang out with good people. Got to see Josh. Got to see you guys. And
We had a good group.
It was an exciting weekend for us where the trip was still worth it. If it had just been just me going down there on my own dime, doing my own thing, I would have been probably more frustrated than I am.
Right.
But the fact that I was down there with friends, with people who support me, with my team,
Yeah.
like it felt a lot better.
And our team was big, and like it was big enough that we were all close enough that you didn't have to be with the same small group. You could break off from that and go jump in with these guys, or jump in with those guys, or these guys.
We just kind of absorbed Billy.
We absorbed Billy.
It was kind of like, Billy, you're with us now.
I thought I was going to be fighting somebody with Billy when he was mad about his family getting kicked. I'm like, I'm ready to fight. Who do I got to fight? I got to fight a cop? Yeah.
But yeah, that was... Probably the worst part about the event was they kicked the spectators out at 7.
That was heartbreaking.
Unless you are either an athlete or you have like a platinum pass or something.
Yeah.
And so Billy had 6 family members fly over from Indonesia, spent thousands of dollars to come watch him compete.
Yeah.
And they got booted right before the deadlift.
Yeah. He was losing it. Yeah.
Rightfully so.
Yeah.
I've never seen.
If he wasn't so fast, I would have been right there with him. I was like, I gotta put my. I'm like, I'm coming.
Yeah, no, and
I don't even know you that well, but I like you.
But
So
the annoying thing is that he does the deadlift. They just walked back in.
yeah,
So like you kicked all these people out in this performative thing, and they just walked back in unopposed.
yeah,
So like you fired Billy up for no reason.
No reason,
Like that stressed him out. He was angry the rest of the show. Rightfully so, Billy. You had every right for that.
absolutely. Yeah,
But like, wow.
yeah. It's pouring more gas on a fire that's already well burning.
Oh yeah, everyone's
You
already
know,
mad,
yeah.
and then you go and do
You
that.
just stop. But in the same defense, I'm thinking it objectively because I'm going 7 o'clock. If I'm a security guard, I'm told to kick everyone out.
Now, do your job.
Nobody came around to me and said, "Okay, we screwed up." You know, like let certain people in and certain because there's gonna be guys that'll be like, "Oh no, I don't have to leave." They're like, "No, it's a hard line in the sand." So it's not their fault. I don't know whose fault that one was.
I've worked security.
But if you take time to listen, it helps.
Yeah, I will say, and my understanding is that when one of the organizers was approached about that situation, his response was, well, what do you want me to do about it? It's like,
Something.
run your
Anything.
show on time so that they don't get kicked out.
Yeah.
I don't know. What's the
Go
thought?
over to the door and tell somebody at the door, this is like...
It's like, take responsibility for the fact this is entirely your fault.
But in all honesty, like Strongman Corp bought their corner. Strongman Corp isn't in charge of the whole
no,
event,
they're not.
You know what I mean? So Strongman Corp can't just be like
to me,
walking around telling security guards, no, I changed them. I'm
also,
so and
but
so.
again, to look someone in the face who's that angry and say, well, what do you want me to do about it?
Yeah.
Oh.
There's just so much wrong everywhere you turned around. There's just wrongness.
Yeah,
It just got wronger.
And end of the day, everyone's stressed, but yeah, that was not handled with tact.
Yeah, that was bad.
But then, I mean, if we're going into Sunday,
What happened on Sunday?
you had a pretty good little day yourself.
I had a great day.
Granted, you are still Jocelyn Grimalson's husband.
We were so close. We went through the points.
Just
and
about.
I thought I was 5th and she was 6th.
Yeah.
So I was like, finally, I got her in
So
one.
for those of you who are unaware, Jocelyn, Gord's wife, has won Manitoba Strongest Man or Woman last year.
Yep.
She then finished 6th in the world at OSG.
Yep.
And ever since then, Gord has been Jocelyn Grimalson's husband. And he was on track to maybe get his own introduction.
Yeah, I was almost my own individual.
And she had to beat you.
And she got me again.
So I think Jocelyn finished 4th overall.
She did, yeah.
Which by my calculations means that she should win the Arnold next year.
I think so.
Because she'll finish 2nd at OSG and then
Yeah.
1st at the Arnold.
That's the way to climb.
That's to me. She was 6th, 4th, 2nd. There's only one place she can go, and 0 doesn't exist. So,
Yeah.
so she's gonna win Arnold and OSG in 2026.
I'm fine with that. She can go by herself.
But yeah, you had a pretty
No,
good
I had a great
little
day. I had one of those days where I met all of my expectations, and I didn't walk away going, I could have, like, you know what I mean? I didn't have one of those days for
Yeah.
whatever reason. My crew was great. Like, the guys were great that I lifted with, and yeah.
You looked like you were having fun out there.
I was having fun. After that first log and the jitters went away, it was like, okay, let's go, you know?
Yeah.
And then I got the second one, which wasn't a PR, but it's right banging on the door, 268 on the log.
Yeah, I mean, you
And
hit
then
270 for a triple.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I think that last one was just a touch too much.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was
280.
283 or
15-pound
something.
jump. No, 10-pound jump.
So then 283. Or did you do 278?
283.
Okay, so 283.
Yep.
Just a touch much, but like really on a log you've never touched before.
Yeah.
After an expo, because like yeah, you're peaked, but like it's an expo weekend.
And you traveled, and I cut weight.
traveled,
Yeah.
you got weight. Like I'd be really happy with that
Yeah.
performance.
No, Friday I didn't. What did I eat Friday? I had 2 M&Ms. 2 M&Ms, 2 peanuts, and
that
like
was-
a couple of mouthfuls of salad.
Do you realize how satisfying that was? Just sit there eating my carbonara.
Yeah, I'm sitting beside Billy. Billy's got this lasagna that it was a
was the size-
family
it was the
size
size of
portion.
my arm.
Yeah,
Like,
it,
it
had
was-
to have been 5 inches tall, a foot long or more.
Yeah.
And he's smashing it away. Everybody's
it's
smashing food.
gigantic.
I'm just like, oh, a little lettuce.
Yeah, you're wiping the dressing off the leaves, crying in the corner.
It's fine though. I can handle that though. Like I've cut weight enough times, and the end goal is so worth it. I don't care what I have to go through to get to it.
That's
so,
fair.
And then I
That's a
ended
good
up weighing
mentality.
in. Yeah, I weighed in on everything was fine, which
Yeah.
because I was hanging on to weight, which I don't normally hang
Yeah,
on
'cause
to.
I
Weight.
remember
Normally I can get
like a week out, you were kind of concerned.
yeah, and then even the day before I was still 233, and I'm like, I'm never 233 the day before. Usually I'm banging on that 231, and then I can get into a place where it's just literally weighing food. Like I weigh myself, I weigh
Yeah.
my food in,
You know
food
what's
out.
up.
It's a pretty easy
Yeah.
calculation, right? But I wasn't getting there. And then I woke up and jumped on the scale 228. Oh, okay, good.
Yeah,
it
you're
fell
good.
it fell off overnight. 3-4 pounds fell off overnight. So and then I weighed in, and it was
The lettuce did it.
yeah, the lettuce did it. But no, weigh-in was good. Rehydration was great. I felt strong. I was just having fun.
Yeah.
And that's, yeah. OSG was fun, don't get me wrong, but it was stressful. The anxiety of everything leading up and getting there was just stressful. And then once you get that out of the
You
way,
were much more enjoyable to be around during training this prep.
Yeah.
You're always enjoyable to be around.
Yeah.
But it was when you get that nervous, I get stressed out for you.
Yeah.
And during OSG prep, I'm like, I really hope Gord does well. Because he's going to start crying, and then I got to deal with that.
and I did do very well at OSG. I was happy with my performance
You
there
did.
too.
But honestly, your prep for this one, I'm like, man, you're going to have a performance. Because you were confident. You were hitting PRs every week.
Yeah.
On your worst day, you were hitting PRs.
Yeah.
or matching. Like I don't think you had a bad day this entire prep that I can think of.
Just the sickness. If I didn't
Just
get
the
sick, I had
sickness.
2 weeks of sickness. That
Yeah.
I do believe that next step log is there once I can get that. If that 2 weeks wasn't there, that third log would have went.
Well, because I got something similar a couple weeks out where, I was down for the count for a couple of days and just
I
some
couldn't
kind
get
of
my lung
flu.
capacity back. I just couldn't breathe.
Yeah.
And anytime I did something, it was just laboring, like having a rough time.
Yeah. A couple of us got that. It was, I know Shelby was sick for a while too, so I think just a
It's
bunch of
been
us
going
got
around, everybody's had
hammered.
it, yeah.
But it is what it is.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, so
Log went good. And
Great
then,
log.
Then we went into trap bar. Warm-ups were chaos, as usual. I pulled
Yes.
650 in the back, and I'm like, 650, and I put it down. I'm like, okay, I'm ready. Like, 700 is going to go.
yeah.
And then I was in the second. We had 3 heats going, and I was in the second heat. And no, I was in the third heat.
You were third heat.
I was in third heat there. I watched the second heat. 3 of the guys went for the 700, and they were pumping them. And I'm like, I kind of got to take a stab at it. So my heat went. Everybody went, and I kind of stepped back and just watched, and they all went for the heavy bar. So I'm like, okay, I got to go to heavy bar. So I went, and as soon as I started to pull, it started to move, but I felt both my pecs go, like they just stretched. And I'm like, I know what's going to happen next if I commit.
Yeah.
So then I quickly made the decision back to the light bar, and I still pumped out 8 reps on the light bar.
Yeah. And
But that was
you
so-
strapped in very quickly.
Yeah, I got in quick, and they were like,
But yeah, once you got going,
I was
reps
still
were-
fun. Like even though it was on the lighter bar, I was having fun because I'm like, okay, boom, boom, boom.
See,
I'm hitting
I
them.
will say though, not too impressed. You had one more rep in you.
I probably did.
And I'm
I still
sitting
won the
there-
light bar.
And I'm sitting there using your own words. I'm screaming, "Don't you stop pulling! Don't you stop
I
pulling!"
could hear you too. Yeah.
And
I'm
you
tired.
knew that's how I felt at the novice show, and you just
Yeah.
didn't keep going. You're a lot less tough when there's not a whistle in your hand. Eh? But no, yeah, it really solid, especially given that you hit that bar and then drop back to
Yeah, and
strap
still won
in,
the light bar.
bail
Yeah.
an attempt. And then and I mean, honestly, like I said, but it's good that you did that too, because you got just enough reps. If you'd started on the light bar, you would have gone like 12 reps, and then that's just too much.
It didn't matter.
Yeah, it didn't matter at that
12
point.
reps, 8 reps, it didn't matter. I still won the light bar.
Yeah,
So.
that's the thing, right?
Yeah.
So, but you didn't know
And then
that.
and then once I look back at the points, even if I got 1 rep on the 700, it wouldn't have changed the points.
Well, that's how I kind of
Half
felt
a point,
because,
yeah.
like, again, how many guys got 1 at 700? And then, like, Andrew Burden got, like, 7 reps at 900. But it's like he's just a thick, stocky, squatty guy who's got
The
a
guy
good
that
deadlift.
won had 12 reps on the 700-pound trap bar.
And honestly, I think with the trap bar, like, Alec and Lucas said it really well in the prediction video, the guys who are just squatty
Yeah.
will do well.
Yeah.
And the big,
I'm
beefy
normally
dudes.
squatty, but
But you're not a big, thick dude.
No, yeah.
Right? Like, the guys, you know who I'm talking about when I say squatty.
Yeah.
The guys who look like Jezza Uepa, right?
Yeah.
Like, they're just
the ones that are
thick.
literally like an airbag, just reaching for the bar is like already compressing the airbag.
and that's what
you know?
those guys are going to bang out reps. And that's pretty much what happened. Like the guys who were going to get reps got reps.
Yeah.
The taller guys just kind of got screwed. And I really hope they don't do that trap bar again. It didn't feel like strongman to me.
Yeah. It was a little different. It was fun,
Yeah, it was fun.
but that's not an event I'd be like, oh, I want to do that again. You know what I mean? Especially on that bar.
I thought it was weird too that they
I'd
had
rather
it.
have a whippy bar
I
than
thought
you
it
can
was
put more
weird they
weight in.
had it facing forward.
Yeah.
Because everything I've ever seen, you're supposed to deadlift with that bar facing back because it tightens up the strap in your hand.
Yeah.
And it was kind of weird to me that if I were to feint and fall forward, I'm hitting the bar instead of just the ground.
100%. Yeah. Especially when you're letting people use figure eights.
Well, yes, but yeah. So I don't know. That was kind of strange. Yeah, do you think? Yeah, the heater gets loud in here. Hopefully, that didn't mess with the audio too much earlier. But yeah, I hope that they didn't. I hope they don't do it again. They'll probably kick off right away. Okay. We're 6 episodes in, and we've only had to go off camera once in all 6 episodes. I'm okay with this. We're doing pretty good.
We're talking about trap bar.
Trap bar. Yeah, I don't think I'd do it again. Or do it from a height. If you're
It's a
not,
lot
if
of,
you're,
it's an interest. They must have got sponsored, and because those are $1,400 trap bar.
they're very expensive trap
Yeah.
bars. And honestly, I think that company is kind of going to the wayside
Yeah.
because they fired Chris Duffin and then started immediately tagging him in product reels to explain his product. I'm like, this isn't great business, guys. You don't get to fire someone and then ask them to explain the product
help
you
me?
fired them for. Yeah, it's just weird.
It's a weird decision. Yeah.
But yeah, so it was kind of a weird thing. I hope they don't do it again. It just didn't feel very strongman to me.
Yeah.
Especially given the fact that like Rogue is such a big sponsor. You think they would have just used the Rogue bars that they had?
Yeah.
So that was kind of strange, but whatever.
They must have given a lot of money, or gave all those bars for free. Because there's
Must
what, 2,
have.
4, 6, 8 kabuki bars at $1,400 a bar.
They're
Canadian, American,
so,
whatever.
but
American, they're $800, $900 a bar, but
it's still a lot of bars, a lot of bar money.
yeah.
I know the Rogue plates, those nice thin ones, those were all loaned.
Oh.
So that was very nice at Rogue.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd love those plates in a gym.
No, they were hard to handle.
I like the deep dish.
Yeah, they were hard to handle. Like they're like calibrated plates, but they're really tight on the collar too. They must have been like a calibrated.
They could have also,
but
it could have also been kabuki because we were playing around with those bars and we were at Rogue.
Right.
We'll go into after, I guess. We said this episode was going to be 2 hours. And we're
It's
on our
going to
way.
be a long one. You can pause it if you need.
Yeah, we'll be fine. But we were, I think it might have just been the bars because the plates at Rogue, they were fine. They were sliding onto things. So I think it was just the bar.
Yeah.
Different collars, different sleeves, whatever.
Right.
But at the end of the day, like it was just a weird event. I didn't love that one. I did love those Rogue competition yokes though.
Yeah.
Oh, did I love those
So,
things.
anyways, for log, I finished 4th, which blew me away because those guys are strong. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I hung with them, which was nice. And I'm like 4th, that's pretty good.
You finally got it through your head that you're kind of strong.
Kind of strong, I guess, ish. Yeah.
You're accepting that now?
You don't have to. Yeah, it's like I'm not the best at anything, but I'm pretty good at everything. You know what I mean?
Well,
Deadlift, I was 8th. That cost me some points. The deadlift cost me points.
Yeah.
But and then going into yoke, I was trained up for the long yoke, and my long yoke isn't my fast yoke, so I never trained speed. I needed to get the full 120, and I was up to getting the full 120 in under a minute, and I was pumped because I'm like, that's 720.
Your yoke training looked really good.
My yoke training was
really, really
I
good.
actually enjoyed it, and I never ever, since I've started strongman, I've never enjoyed yoke.
We also had a crew doing it though. I think yoke's one of those things you need to have a crew.
Yeah.
If you were just
And it's
training
always-
it here in the garage, okay, that's different.
Yeah, it's always better when you're winning. You know what I mean? When you're winning with the
That's
implement.
true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
When
you're
once
getting
it
faster
starts
every
to,
week.
yeah. So now I can take a 600-pound yoke, and I'm fast with a 600-pound yoke. And now 700. I had 800 at OSG, and I got it for the best I did was 10 feet going into OSG, and then I hit 800 for 48 feet or something like
I
that.
really thought you were going to finish that one. I was really
If I
sad
could do that
about
again today, I'd finish it. I'll finish it now for sure.
Oh,
no question.
easily.
Yeah.
Well, you will when you go
Yeah.
back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But then, yeah, those competition yokes are unreal. They're just so they had to be 4 inches wider though.
I don't.
They're definitely wider.
They are wider than the Rogue one. Like they're wider than one.
A standard yoke is a squat rack height.
Yeah, it was a little narrower. It was a little wider than Devin's yoke. I really liked it. I know some of the smaller, like Taylor Woods was running with her hands right in here and was swinging on her. I get that, but she's, I think she's like 5'3", something like that. She's small.
Smaller athletes. Yeah.
I know Joss was saying she had some troubles like reaching in like she usually did, but you didn't have to because the yoke was so sturdy.
Yeah.
And I really liked that about it, where there was just no wiggle room in it at all. And I'm used to training on. Tom's talked about replacing it, and we were looking at hopefully getting one of those Rogue competition yokes.
Yeah.
Sam, help me out. Sam from Rogue.
Okay. Yeah. I'm sure he listens.
Oh yeah, he follows me. He was commenting,
Well,
so
send him,
I'll send him. I'm on him. I'm on him about it. I told him, I was like, you barge into that boardroom meeting and you say, there's one guy in Canada who wants this yoke. We need to make it.
And it's not the guy that bought the wagon wheels.
And it's not the guy about the wagon wheels.
I spent money and he didn't follow.
Exactly. Well, you didn't ask.
Apparently. You
should ask.
I gotta figure that out. I'll find that guy.
You'll find him. I'll send him to you.
Deal.
But I really liked that competition yoke. I'd love to get my hands on that competition yoke. I don't know if I will get my hands on that competition
'cause
yoke
it seems like
ever.
you can't buy them unless you can find
But
games for
apparently you can use some of the other parts to basically make one, kind of like fabric cobble it.
Yeah.
Which is
Where do you
fine.
get the
I
double
would.
bar?
Rogue sells them.
Oh,
So because they're 48 inches wide,
yeah.
you can get the parts that fits all their other racks. So in theory, you could just get another piece and like tack weld it on.
Oh, okay.
And you get like a second. It wouldn't be perfect, but it'd be like close enough.
Yeah.
So I was thinking about doing that, but we'll see. Tom's looking at maybe getting a different yoke because and we have a Bell's of Steel one, and it's like 135 pounds empty. It's really rickety.
It's like.
I mean, to be fair, we trained on it.
Yeah,
It's a great yoke.
I don't mind that yoke at all. I would buy one. I would recommend somebody most average weight class athletes, maybe not the 900, 1,000 pound athletes, but up to
Especially
700 pounds, it was solid at 700 pounds.
The more weight you put on it, though, I find the more stable it gets. Like the lighter it is, it's really rough.
You can't point load that way either.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
You can't point load the corners because you can feel the thing wants to twist and then it goes
it really does. You have to be careful with how you load it. So that's the downside of it.
Yep.
But yeah, that yoke was beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, yeah, clearly it worked for you,
Yeah, I ended up third in yoke. And
which is insane.
Warm-ups, I only touched a couple. I did a couple of picks. I did some runs at like 15, 20-foot runs.
Just kind of barely. I'm surprised you warmed up.
Everybody was, and it was a little bit, like we were a little bit long between events.
Yeah,
so I just hit it a couple times.
And you were early in the deadlift.
Yeah.
So, okay, that makes sense. Just kind of hit a couple just to feel it.
Yeah, it was just to feel it. I didn't do anything heavy. One pick at 650 or something like that. And I was, okay, see you later, let's go. And then as soon as I grabbed it and I took off, it swung back. I'm like, it changed the way I had to think. Because before I was thinking slow and steady. Slow and steady, no drops was my goal. The full 120, no drops. And I'm like, okay, well, I know I can do 120, no drops. I'm 30 and 30 is significantly less, but now I have to learn. Now my transition really matters. Because my transition was terrible.
You were a little slow in training with the transition.
My transition was bad.
We were yelling at you quite a bit about that. You're like, I don't want to get back under it.
Exactly. So I never really, I was hoping that would be their game day. And then as soon as I grabbed it and I took off, I was with everybody. Like I was tied with one guy and there was two guys that were right behind me. And I'm like, whoa, okay, I got to move. And they hit the line. And then that transition was just bang, bang. I grabbed it. You don't take the time that you do under it the first time to figure it out. You just grab it, hit it with your traps, and hope you got it in the right spot. And as soon as I grabbed it and I buggered off, everybody was still farting with theirs. I'm like, hey, see you guys later.
Well, that's the kind of weird thing. Like, and I was kind of thinking about that. Like after, I'm like, it's weird, like how we take so much time to set it up perfectly beforehand when we first go. Then you're dropping it. You're haphazardly getting back under that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, somehow you always seem to get it right.
Yeah. Because as soon as I grabbed it and I started almost in a running start, and it kicked and it come forward and I caught it, and my run back was probably 30% faster than my run there.
I didn't time my splits. I should go back and do that.
I'm gonna check my splits, because I was significantly faster on the way back.
Yeah, I'm curious.
And then I ended up third in that one, which to me was, I felt like a small guy there because there was a lot of big.
But you finishing third in a yoke in pretty much anywhere is kind of weird.
Yeah.
It's not your strength.
No.
Or it hasn't historically been.
I think it's going to be now.
Oh, yeah, it might be. It seems like you're on a roll with it.
Yeah.
Or like it's not even going to be strength. You're just a more complete athlete now.
Yeah.
Which is exciting.
Because I've taken the time to put effort into something I never put effort into before.
Yes.
So that does go to show you that it doesn't matter what you're bad at. If you put in the right effort into it, I think you can get better.
I think you said that there's the right effort.
Yeah.
Right. That's kind of something where I'm doing.
Not max effort.
No, that's what I'm dealing with. Like with the overhead right now is like, I mean, honestly, my legs are pretty good. So like we're getting jerk blocks at the gym is the plan. Not sure when they're coming in, but Tom has talked to some companies about it. And I'll be working a lot of dip and drives. In the meantime, I've been hammering just strict press. That's kind of the plan for this block. It's a powerlifting thing, and I'm going to give it a full powerlifting prep because I have the goals. I haven't finished goals there. So I'm like, I think just for one of my variations when you use like strict press, my strict press is horrible. So if you were to use like for sets of 8 strict overhead standing press, what would you use?
I could probably press 220, 230.
For sets of 8?
Yeah. I can push press 220 for 10 or more.
Yeah. So I was using 185.
Come on.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what I mean. So that's a weak point.
Well, that's a whole.
Strict pressing is a whole.
Yeah.
So I'm like, as much as people say you don't need to strict press, I'm like, clearly I do. So I'm going to push that pretty hard.
That's something that you can spot right away, and
right.
And
That's something I think we're going to do.
Don't try to hit the 2s and the 3s. You're not getting stronger at 2s and 3s. You're getting stronger at 7s and 8s. Into 5s, that's where you're building the strength, and that goes right back to what I said before. You push up your bottom, your top goes. It doesn't. I don't care who you are.
That's how it works. So I mean, I'm going to start pushing those because that's clearly a hole in the game. And like I said, just being a more complete strong, because I know my legs are strong.
Yep.
Like, I know I can dip and drive. I need to practice it more.
Yep.
But right now, the lockout power is what's going to hold me back on things like a log. With a split jerk, doesn't matter. No. But with this is for an axle, doesn't matter. I can split jerk it. Yep. But like. Well, to put it in perspective, like my best log is 338. My first time doing an axle clean and press, I hit 315.
Yeah.
Like, okay, that's kind of weird. Because I can split jerk it.
Barbell-y, yeah.
But I can split jerk it.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. And you're comfortable with the barbell.
Exactly. So
Comfortable with the barbell, comfortable with the log. Completely.
totally different.
Yeah.
But so with the log though, it's I push press it. I need to get my lock up stronger. If you look at the log, like it comes up and it's kind of that little boop at the end. So if I can just get that stronger, in theory, yeah, I'll be a better presser. So I'd like to work on that this prep while I'm pushing my bench up. And also too, it's just a different variation on my triceps, on my delts. So it should help my bench as well. Because I really want to bench 500. Oh, I want to bench 500.
I just want to bench press. I haven't bench pressed in months.
And your overhead shot up weird. Honestly, though, after my goal is to bench 500 at Keystone, so that I just don't have to bench anymore.
Yeah.
So it's that number that I have to get it.
Yeah.
It's arbitrary, I know, but it's in my head.
It doesn't matter, but you still want
Doesn't matter, but I want it. I want to be able to be that guy who tells my kids like I benched 500 in my day.
Yeah.
You know.
Exactly.
There's like at the end of the day, like there's not a lot of people on the planet who can bench press 500 pounds.
No.
So I'd like to be able to do
bench
that.
for.
No. So I'd like to be able to do that. It would mean a lot to me personally on a personal level, so I'm going to do that.
Yep.
But yeah, like the holes in the game, yeah, that makes a big difference.
Yep.
I guess then that brings us to sandbags.
Yeah. And I like sandbag, but I also had a bee in my bonnet from OSG with that 310 sandbag, that 310 Husafel. So I went and bought one. I spent $1,000 on sandbags just for this show.
Yeah.
But it paid off because you could tell the people that had never touched these Husafel bags before. You could see it. And I was that guy. And I'm like, I know exactly how you feel. Like frustration, the whole thing. But yeah, I was sitting in a good spot. I was in the second last heat. And I went up. It was a funny situation when I went up because I was pumped. I'm ready. Like I'm the guy that's like waiting, and when you call my name, I'm ready. Like I'm not looking for my wrist straps. I'm halfway out on the floor while the last guy's coming off because I want to go. You know what I mean? And I'm in go-go mode. So I'm up there. They're setting up sandbags. Okay, no problem. Well, then they made a weight change on the ladies' side. So I'm standing. I was up there for probably 3 to 5 minutes, like freaking.
Just waiting.
When I was ready, I was ready. But then the more I waited, the more I started overthinking it. My mind's turning, my mind's rolling, and now I'm getting it in my head. And I'm looking down at these sandbags, and I'm going, these are monsters. They started at 267 Husafel, 275 tube bag. Was supposed to be a 287 Husafel and a 300 tube bag. And then I was supposed to have a 310 Husafel at the end of the run. Because they were running short on time, they knocked that 310 off. They didn't knock the 310 off. They moved it up my run. So,
oh dear.
Yeah, so my nemesis bag was third bag in my run, so it actually went 267, 275, 310, 300.
Oh.
But well, I looked at it and I'm like, whatever, you're going today. I don't give two shits of what happens.
Yeah, I came all the way here. It's happening.
Yeah. So I have my little regime for that one. I rubbed some chalk in where my hand's going to go on the bag. I had my chalk on the third bag. I was ready. And I'm waiting. And then I'm starting to implode because I'm like, I got to get going. Well, now I'm overthinking stuff. Now I'm looking for chalk and I'm scrambling and I'm all over the place. And Danny Lebreche from Saskatchewan, good buddy. Like he owns Valkyrie.
Oh, okay.
Valkyrie or whatever. And he's stupid strong. He's kind of the guy I've been chasing for a while now. So he just, all I hear is, Gord! And I snapped out of it. I'm like, and there's Denny standing there, quit thinking. And I'm like, oh, he's right. And then my whole body just went, okay, focus. You know what I mean? And then it was like, 30 seconds to a minute. And then we were going. And I was like, it's that camaraderie that is huge in Strongman 2 when you have a guy who's better than me. He's 100% better than me, no question. But still cared enough to help me. You know what I mean? That's huge because you can stand there and be like, haha, he's not going to get it, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But he wants to beat me at my best, which is what I want to beat him at his best too, right? So I'd already beat him in the yoke. So we have this rivalry going since OSG. I beat him in the yoke at OSG too, but he beat me in everything else. He's better than me at everything else. So that's arbitrary, but he's been doing it for 15 years at a high level. He's been open. He's winning open shows before.
Yeah, he was an open. You came in as a master.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, so then I got my sandbags. I hit the first one and it flew, and I'm like, okay, it's go time. I grabbed that second one, it went, and then that 310. I didn't know it was a 310 until I looked down and said 140 kgs on it, and I'm like, that's not supposed to be. That's supposed to be 130 kgs.
So now you can do math.
Yeah, I looked down. I'm like, oh no. Screw it. I just got mad and I just grabbed that thing and brought it up and it hooked on my knees right away. I'm like, oh, okay, bunched, pulled, bunched one more time, and shot, and it went. And I was like, I was good there. I was ready to just shut her down. I don't even care. And then I went for that 300 bag, and I couldn't. It was wet. So
they were all wet.
As soon as I grabbed it, my hands would slip in my hand, and I can load that 300 bag every day.
Yeah.
But I couldn't get it to come up with my hips. It just would peel and just melt. And hindsight.
They were moist.
Hindsight, I should have grabbed it.
I think Carrie was going to kill me if I sent one more moist name. Moist.
Yeah. Hindsight, I should have put it down and picked it up tube-wise, because I can pick it up tube-wise, but I never ever needed to. I've done it.
But Denny told you to stop thinking.
Yeah, I know. I should have thought a little more.
You were fine. At that point, you could have thought, yeah. See, he did want to beat you. He's like, no, Gord will get all 4. If I tell him to stop thinking, he won't get it.
In the end, I beat him. So I got him 2. He got me 2. But
there you go.
He had more points.
We'll have to have a tiebreaker.
His deadlift is significantly better than mine. So
yeah. Denny, when you start making logs again, those logs were pretty.
That's a pretty nice log. I sent
those were nice. those Valkyrie logs, those were pretty.
Yeah.
But
if you need any strength wear, they got nice apparel. And they've got throwing bags and
it's nice. It's nice to see a bunch of good companies now. Because I know you got those Resolute Husafeld bags. You're really happy with those. Yep. There's a hilarious picture of you just disappearing behind the thing.
That was that 310.
The 310, and then
actually I had mine loaded to 315, so I was like, I'm gonna get that one.
But it's nice. There's like multiple good providers now. You got Valkyrie's kind of the OG.
Yep.
Resolute's making some really nice stuff, and then you got Inclusive Fitness on the East Coast there.
Yep.
You got some good companies and putting out some good stuff there.
Support them.
But it was funny what you said there. I just quickly going back because I know you were saying about you want to beat Denny at his best, and Denny wants to beat you at his best, et cetera, et cetera.
Yep.
And Brian Shaw put out a podcast today with Lucas Haddon. Really good listen. But they were kind of talking about that where Brian's like, I wanted to beat guys at their best.
Yeah.
I didn't want to go and just run away with the show because I was Brian Shaw. I wanted to go and beat guys because they were good and I was better. Yeah. Right? And I think that's it's really good. And that's the thing. It's like, he wants you to be your best.
Yeah.
But also too, this is my first international competition, and I don't know if this has been done. You've been to OSG, so maybe you know. But was it Bailey and Josh who made that Arnold Team Canada 25 chat?
Yeah, it was Bailey. Bailey started
but that was awesome.
Yeah,
that was really cool.
Big time, yeah.
And I met a lot of people who even people I met at nationals, but I just never put together who they were.
Yeah.
I'm like, now I know you. I've talked to you. I've met you.
Yeah.
And that was pretty cool to actually meet people and interact with people.
Yeah. We truly were a team. Everybody was for everybody.
Yeah. We managed to fail to get a group picture.
We did.
Sorry. Which I know Bailey and Jackie will not let us live down. Sorry, guys. But we tried. And I'm sure we'll go back next year and we can get a picture then. But
we just gotta do
that was awesome. And like I said, it did feel like a team. So when Denny's yelling at you, it doesn't feel artificial.
Yeah.
It's no, he cares.
Yeah.
We are a team down here.
For sure.
It was great. I really enjoyed that. And
that's what made the whole thing, all in all, I walked away from that this was the most fun I've had. You know what I mean?
Oh, it was a ton of fun. It was a great show.
And I didn't win. But
fun.
It was fun.
Okay. It was fun. Like I said, and even I'd be lying to you if I said I was having fun during the competition. I was frustrated and angry.
Yeah.
But it was a really good opportunity because, Shelby was getting kind of worked up, and I'm like, I'm going to do the best I can given the circumstances.
I do. I think I owe you an apology for that too, because I should have been. It was so much chaos. I should have been the guy back there going, okay, pulling you out of the negativity. Because Shelby and I chatted about it too, and I said this is noticing things after something happened is easy, but when you're in the middle of it, that would have been a good time to pull you away and say, okay, those guys are in their negative little circle, let them be in their negative circle. Come over here, get your head on straight for your show. You know what I mean?
But in all honesty,
it didn't affect you, which was good.
That's kind of where I was going. Is one, would I have listened?
I think you would have.
But two is I didn't need it.
No.
And that to me, because
I would have felt really bad if you stunk it up.
Yes, but you know me, right? I do a lot of reading about the philosophical stuff and I journal and all that kind of stuff because I think understanding yourself is important as a competitor, as a person, as a man. And so to me that was okay, that was the trial by fire that I've embraced these values of stoicism and stuff where I value all this stuff, right? It's okay, I read about this, I journal about this, I reflect on this stuff, and now it's there's a really stressful, really awful situation, and I handled it in stride. So mentally, that's a big win for me because I'm okay, I'm I'm not going to have a show that bad again. But
No.
when it does come to that, my head will stay on straight.
Yeah.
It was a good stress test for me.
Yeah. No, you did good.
I'm happy with it.
Yep.
Proud of you. I do, even though she's busy studying, I do want to touch on Joe's day.
Yeah,
Because
for
she crushed it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, I think she PR'd everything.
For sure, the log.
Because
Yeah.
I'm trying. So I walked. She hit a 178 log.
Yep.
Which is insane.
Yeah, and it flew.
Well, yeah, because she missed her second attempt, right? She missed an attempt, I thought.
Nope. She got all three.
Was she got three? Or the second one was harder or something. But
Yeah.
she
Yeah,
she took two.
last
She
one
took
went.
2 cracks with one of them.
I think so,
The
yeah.
last one.
See you later. Yeah.
Yeah, like if she'd let go of that, it actually would have flown.
Yeah. Yeah, that
And
was her best log.
I think she had 190 in her.
Oh, she did.
Like, that was absurd. And as soon as that clean came up,
Yeah.
I'm like, that's a stable clean.
Yeah.
She looks good.
Yeah.
But I don't think I've ever seen her show that much emotion lifting. Just
No.
yelling after it. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. When I come off the yoke, I'm like, let's go.
Yeah, it's like-
You're actually
you
after my
guys were-
second log, I came back through the tunnel. I'm like, come on, guys, just
But you were having
just
fun.
lose it. You know,
I
what
think
I
you
mean?
were
Yeah.
enjoying yourself,
Yeah.
which I loved to see.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so Jocelyn smokes the log.
Yeah.
Easily had 190 in her. There was not a question on earth.
Yeah.
PR'd the deadlift.
Yep.
And I know she was. So this is about when we realized that Shelby had a pass.
Right.
And she could go back with you guys.
Yeah,
So she went back. And
It was pretty much a free for all anyway.
pretty much free for all, to be fair.
Yeah.
But I think Shelby's like, do you want me back here? And Jocelyn's like, absolutely yes. And just starts ranting. And she's like, I'm sorry, I'm ranting at you. She's like, I can absorb this. You need this.
Yeah.
She went out, hit her log PR, whatever.
Yeah.
But I know I was talking to her after. I was kind of talking to you guys. We were kind of trying to get some of our money's worth in the expo. So we're kind of back and forth catching. I think I caught all your events, which was nice.
Yep.
But so I know she was really uncertain about the deadlift, and she said it was basically a game time decision to go for the heavy one.
Yep.
And I think I was telling her something similar you were saying, is I'm like, watch the people warming up,
Yep.
see how their warm-ups look, and if you think they're going to miss the heavy one, rep the low one.
Yep.
And then she was like, well, I don't know. And I think she said, like, as she was walking out, she was like, no, I can get the heavy one.
Yep.
And then she got 1 rep, which is a massive PR.
Huge, yeah.
I think it was, what, a 25-pound PR?
I think it
Something
was
like
every
that.
bit of 20.
Like,
Yep.
absolutely insane.
Yep.
Absolutely insane. Good job.
On a stiff bar.
That was
yeah. Dead weight.
There was
yeah.
no. I mean,
There's
to be
no-
fair, the one at Iron is so poorly bent in the other direction. Sorry, Tom. That basically when you go to lift it the way we were doing upside down, it just bent back to straight.
Yeah, exactly. And we have the
So-
exact same bar, so it's like you could feel that whip. It's different when you can load. It's a different feeling when you can feel yourself loading it. But when it's
That's
from
the one.
zero
Yes,
to nothing.
there was
Yeah.
nothing. I think with the handles being elevated, you feel the handles kind of click. Kind of when you pull a slack on a bar, you that little clink.
Yeah.
I was expecting that. Nothing.
Not
It
a-
was
not
a
a-
brick.
It was a brick. Yeah.
Somehow had less flex than the Rogue bars, which were welded together.
Yeah.
Like, it
On a
was
2x2
was
steel.
stupid.
Yeah. I don't know what that thing's made of.
But
But
yeah,
it's
so
hard.
huge PR
Yeah.
for her. Awesome. Just
Yeah.
absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. And then yoke.
Yeah, where did she finish in the yoke?
She did good for that was
'Cause
her
they're like-
fastest yoke run.
Because I know, like, I remember
remember
watching
where
her run it.
She wasn't the fastest. But
No, but I remember watching her run it.
Yeah.
And then kind of flashing back to where she was at MSM last year.
Yeah.
She was like knee wrapped up and like shuffling.
Yeah.
Versus here, like she's actually running with it.
She was actually,
And it's
yeah.
like, wow.
That was a full on.
Talk about an improvement.
Yeah.
And I mean, too, I think she had a lot of trouble at OSG with the yoke too, right?
Well, that was 600, 620.
It was very heavy,
Yeah.
but I remember she was having a really hard time even
Yeah.
moving it.
Yeah.
It was her yoke. This one it was
480.
480, so dramatically heavier.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, yeah, she was cruising with it now.
Yeah.
And I think the yoke at MSM was
I think it was 480 or 500.
480 or 500.
Yeah.
And I don't think she finished that one.
I don't think she
She
finished
was halfway
it was 80
done.
feet, yeah.
So I mean, like, really huge PR. So great job.
Yeah,
and
that'll be a non-issue
that
anymore.
sandbag medley.
That was just that was silly. Yeah.
Oh, because I remember like people were talking about Hannah Cold Iron's run because it was quick.
Yeah.
I think Joe was faster. Like,
Yeah,
that
she
was
quick. Yeah.
like just lightning quick. I think the whole thing was like 12 seconds or something. It was
Every
lightning.
pick was perfect. You
Yeah.
couldn't. There was nowhere to save time.
No,
like
and
there was
so
no
honestly,
bobbles.
I said
no,
that was kind of like when I was watching OSG and Jeffers went on the sandbag toss, and I'm like, he wins. No one's going to beat that.
Yeah.
And then Wardeon just comes out and smokes it. I'm like, I don't know where you saved the
Where
time
you
there,
saved the time, yeah.
but that's kind of what would have had to happen here.
Yeah.
Like, I'm watching Joe's run. I'm like, I don't know where you'd shave seconds to
Unless
be
you can one
faster than
motion,
that.
unless you can one motion it, then that's about the only way.
Yeah,
You know
and she
what I mean?
practically did though. She was
Yeah.
like hoisting them up and catching them.
Yeah.
Yeah, just insanely fast, awesome, really, really good performance.
Yeah, full bag run, and that's what got her the most points, because then the people that were ahead of her missed that fourth bag, and people were missing it.
Did she win that
Quite a bit.
event? She must have won that event.
No, I think that Australian lady was pretty fast too. She kind of walked away with everything. Yeah,
That's terrifying.
I couldn't even say her name. It was about 27 characters.
Oh,
Yeah.
she was at OSG, right? With a flower crown?
She won OSG too. I think.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or no, she didn't win, but she was top 3, podium for sure.
But she was the one with the flower crown in her picture?
I think
Is that what
so.
I'm thinking of?
Yeah.
Bigger lady?
She wasn't. She's short but bigger.
Yeah. No, okay, it is who I'm thinking of. I know who you're talking about. She's awesome.
Yeah,
But
she's unreal. They have there's a really good group
no
of ladies
no
over
shame in losing to her.
yeah. No. Yeah, anybody that beat me in anything, there's no. I have no complaints on my performance, her performance. You can ask for more. Yeah.
No, honestly, I mean, the only
They had
thing...
the only thing that would have been nice was if the grip event didn't get knocked off, because I do have a good grip, and a lot
you
of
got
these
that
other
blue
guys
collar
were,
monkey
the other
wrench.
guys were all like, yeah, I suck at grip, and I'm like, how many? I was a point and a half with a fourth, so coulda, woulda,
Yeah.
shoulda. Could I
I
have
mean,
bounced? I do believe that I could have probably moved
Again,
up, yeah.
the only thing that really would have saved you points would be, grip, and then
Placing,
if you got that log.
Yeah.
But that would be a big PR.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you really can't be too
But
bad
that's the
about
thing
that.
is, so I finished 6th. I was a point and a half out of 4th, and there's still improvements that I could make in there. Nothing I'm upset about, but it's like,
think that's
I'm
more
banging on this,
encouraging.
I'm banging on that, I'm banging on this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's more encouraging when you go to a show and you're like, there's room to improve versus like I had a perfect show.
Yep.
And everything went terribly.
Yeah, and you'll never ever get to that.
So
level
honestly,
again.
I mean, like my first real show, Tolstoy, I had a really good day.
Yep.
My grip was not good. We know my grip's not great, especially at that time. It wasn't good.
Yeah.
I've been doing a lot of work on it since, but that day was pretty much perfect, and I still lost to Pat
Yeah.
on the last event. So it's like that one was kind of like I put my best effort out, and I couldn't beat a guy a weight class below me.
Yeah.
Not that there's any shame in losing to Pat when he's on.
Yeah.
But you're a rookie, you're a young kid. You're like, really, I lost the guy who came up a weight class. Really?
Yeah. It gets 230
Just
pounds.
ignored the fact that he beat Jeremy and Brian and Bushi and everyone else, right? Ignore all that stuff. But when you're coming into a show and so nationals, I know I left points on the table at nationals.
Yeah.
And that's kind of encouraging to look back on, because I was doing some digging today because they had the log lift competition. And they'd put the records up, and I went, well, Ryder should have an open teen record, right? So I looked, and sure enough, because he pressed 240 at nationals. So
Yep.
I let them know, and they're, oh yeah, absolutely. As I was curious, I was looking at the national score sheet, and at the end, I'm like, yeah, I never actually looked at this. But I don't know what I won by.
Yeah.
I won by 5.5 points.
Yep.
So it's like,
That's awesome. Yep.
oh,
5 points is big. Yep.
right? But I didn't realize that. And then I thought I beat him by like a half point or like
Yeah.
a point, right? I was like, oh, I just scraped out. But no, I
That's why
walked
we were
away
all pretty
with
sure
it.
you won before you knew you won.
Well, that's what I mean. I had no idea.
We were doing
right?
math there, and I'm like, no, he won. He won. Like,
Yeah. It's like, I didn't know. And then I look back at the points, I'm like, oh. But again, where did I really lose points? The log. That's
Yeah.
where I really lost points. I got like 8 points from that log.
Right.
So it's like, I didn't get much there. But then I won 2 events and finished second in another one. And I finished second in 2 events and won 2 events.
Right.
But then the log was middle of the pack. I'm like, well, I could have just had a hooper day if I just had a better log.
Yeah.
But that's more encouraging to me to go, there's room to improve.
Oh, yeah.
I know, like, even Hooper was talking about that in his recap, where he's like, there's room to improve at this show.
Yeah.
He's like, where I know my log cleans are weird right now. Apparently he's dealing with some kind of issue in his bicep.
Okay.
And he's like, there's some issue with my log cleans. They're weird. So he knows that there's issues in his game.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, that has to keep you motivated, right? Where, little cat. But where there's room that you can improve, where versus just trying to improve on like a perfect show.
Yeah. Well, that was OSG for me. Like, I knew I did well. I knew I did what I could, but I left that show going, okay, I can do better. You know what I mean? And then the events came out for the Arnolds, and that was a totally different prep, because I'm like, no, I have enough time. I can get better, and I did, which Anybody can. You just got to put in. You got to get up at 5 a.m. You got to get up at 5 a.m.
But like, and honestly though, like, because you're 44.
44, yeah.
So you're 44, and you improved. I mean, you've put what 30 pounds on your log in the last year.
Well,
probably more if you had a
more,
true 1RM single.
Yeah.
Because you had 245. You hit the big dog log last year.
Yeah, and that was a 15-pound PR.
That was a 15-pound
230,
PR.
230 was my PR up to that
So
point.
let's just say from 245 though.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you're capable of pressing 280.
Yep.
Right now, but 270 triple. I think you
Yeah,
could press
270
280.
triple, yeah. There's no reason 280 should. 280,
No.
285.
So I mean, we're looking at a 30-pound PR in your 40s.
Yeah. Yeah, that's still.
What is your excuse?
We're definitely.
Right. Honestly,
What
I
is
mean,
your excuse?
Jocelyn hits a 25-pound PR on a harder trap bar.
Yeah.
Jocelyn's just freshly 40.
Yeah, 41.
So again, like, what is your excuse?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You can get better.
To me,
Not
that's
the strongest woman.
Yeah,
Master
gets better.
athlete. You know what I mean?
But a master athlete and still improving.
Yeah.
And like, to me, as a 28-year-old,
Yeah.
that's inspiring, right?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, what a show for
Yeah,
you guys especially.
unreal.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm pumped for you guys.
Yeah, and then you come home thinking you're strong, and you try pull some deadlifts, and you're humbled. Like, no,
So-
I'm tired.
I will say, this is kind of what I was alluding to earlier. I don't feel like I competed.
Yeah,
Like it feels like I had a really heavy training day, like a planned heavy training day,
Yeah.
because everything was so rushed and nothing was really maximal.
Right.
I mean, the deadlift, I just ran out of time and gassed out. It was just lungs more than strength.
right.
But I was doing 725 for sets of 8 in training. That's why I was confident I could get at least 8.
Yeah,
And then the log, like, had a lot left in the tank. Did what I went there to do. That was the plan, was to hit
log
340.
isn't usually taxing.
It's not usually taxing.
Yeah.
It's more technical. And then
Deadlifts are taxing.
And then the
Yoke
yoke,
is taxing.
but the yoke, I mean, I was running 900 pounds for like the 5 weeks beforehand.
Yeah.
So it's like 900
Battling
was
for-
routine.
Yeah, you're battling for long runs.
Yeah, right. So like 900 was routine, and it wasn't hard. Like I was running, and actually it worked out well because I was warming up with about 30-foot runs.
Right.
So I'd take like 700, I go zoom zoom, 800 zoom zoom, and then I take 900 for the full run.
Yeah.
And the yoke did not go well for me the entire prep.
Right.
Worked out okay.
Okay.
But again, it's the fatigue, right? I know how to
Yeah,
run.
I think mine might even be more mental fatigue than anything. Like that feeling of the end. The competition day was the end. I blew it. I gave it all I had. And then after that, my brain was just, I'm done. Like, I am done. So then my body just followed suit. My body doesn't hurt. Like, I'm not sore. I'm not in pain. I don't.
Yeah.
But it's just my brain is so mentally exhausted.
So I'm definitely gassed. That said, I'm not weak.
Yeah.
Like we dove right back in this week, like benching, 365 for sets of 5. I was doing like 15 seconds rest just 'cause I was like, may as well get a pump, right?
Yeah. I haven't had really a good workout yet.
Yeah, my deadlifts yesterday, like I was doing my doubles at 615 and 685 wagon wheel pulls, like just, beltless, just easy peasy.
Yeah.
Hack squats. Well, Alec told me that my legs are weak at that seminar.
Yeah.
And I'm like, challenge accepted, buddy.
Did he say weak or untrained?
No, he said my legs are weak. That's why my yoke
Ouch,
sucks.
That one hurts.
Yeah, he says my legs just aren't strong enough.
Yeah.
And he meant it well. He's like, your squat's good, but it's not Lucas Haddon good. Right?
Yeah.
I'm like, well, fair. And he kind of pointed out, he's like, your goal is to go to Worlds. I assume, I'm like, well, yeah, that's the goal of every open weight strongman, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, your legs are weak. I'm like, you're right. So I've been just hammering hack squats, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to push these. Because day 5 at my deadlifts, that's my last day of the week. There's no reason I can't just kill myself and then recover for 2 days.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to kill myself.
There you go.
On every Friday night, just die. So I might not be doing a whole lot with you guys on Sunday mornings, but I will torture myself.
Yeah. I don't know what training's going to look like for the next little while, so we're going to go.
It's probably Sundays will be a lot of technical stuff for me, just mobility, getting my stuff going. Once we get those jerk
community,
blocks, it's more just socialize.
Yeah, the community also keeps the fire burning too. You know what I mean? You see.
Oh yeah,
It's just fun.
it's friendship.
Yeah.
It's good times.
Yeah.
I don't want to touch on too many other athletes at the Arnold, just because I'll miss somebody.
Yeah.
Team Canada, you guys did great. You
best.
crushed it.
The best. Everybody had great shows, and
It was amazing.
it was fun. There was always somebody to cheer for. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's always somebody, and like people are just. It was awesome. Everyone did so well. Although maximum strength there. They should probably just start avoiding the Arnolds. Max tears his bicep. Sam knocks herself unconscious. Mel Quigley broke her ankle. Even she went there with a broken ankle and broke it again on the yoke.
Wow.
I'm like, you guys should probably just pick another show. Because Max had his lat, his bicep.
Yeah.
The year before that, he broke his ankle or something before the show.
Yeah. He was in a wheelchair last year, I think, if I remember correctly, or in a boot.
Yeah. So it's like, just Max, avoid the Arnold, man. Like,
It's not good for you.
It's trying to kill you. Take the hint. It's going to kill
Somebody's
you.
for sure sabotaging you.
Yeah, that show just, it wants you dead, man. Like,
Yeah.
just run away. Do other shows.
Yeah.
Well, I was joking with him about that at the booth after. I saw him and Sam in Zone, so I was bugging him. I'm like, man, like, this show's trying to kill you. He's like, now that you mention it.
Yeah.
But yeah, and also, actually, the biggest disappointment of the trip was that barbecue burger wasn't in stock.
Which one?
The barbecue burger at the Parlays.
Oh, the parlay. Yeah.
I was
The
disappointed.
first two ones I picked. Okay, I'll have the, what else did I want?
The
beef dip or
barbecue
something?
and the
Or
beef dip.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
because
a
the
prime rib
Wagyu
sandwich.
brisket or something. And
Yeah.
they're like, oh, we're out of that. It's like, what? Yeah, we're out of that too.
I
It's
can
like,
finally
why?
eat, and you guys are killing me.
Yeah, I felt kind of bad for you there. Not too bad, but kind of bad. That was fine. But yeah, overall, like really good trip.
I had a little buzz on there.
You're a lightweight.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I had a little buzz going, then I'm like, frick, if we join these tables with all those
Well, you know
other
what I was
Canadian
saying,
tables,
though?
it's going to be bad time for
So
everyone.
the hotel that we were in had a lot of the Marriotts will have like a fancy bourbon bar, and I'm just like, I kind of wish I still drank just because like there's a bunch that I hadn't tasted before, but I'm like, it's not worth it. I just can't justify it.
Yeah, might just be the beginning of the end.
Well,
Like, is that why you stay away from it? Because you're worried you might go
No.
too far back, or just
No, I just didn't see a purpose anymore.
Okay, yeah,
I never
I haven't-
never got home and was like, oh, I need a drink.
Yeah.
It was just like, why am I? Did I ever tell you the story about why I did this?
I can't remember.
Okay, well, so like my mom and I went out for dinner.
Yeah,
And we were at One Great City Brew Co. Shout
Right.
out, great food.
so good, good beer.
Yeah, unreal. And so like the Tipsy Cow Milk Stout, that is my favorite beer on planet Earth. Unbelievable. But I had that, and you know whatever. I had the one beer. My mom doesn't drink, so she got her Coke.
Right.
And we kind of like just were talking, and it kind of like happened to pick up our drinks at the same time.
Yep.
And I'm sitting there, I'm like, it's chocolatey and coffee and creamy. It's delicious.
Yep.
But I'm looking at her, I'm just thinking, I'm like, is this beer really any tastier than a Coke?
Yep.
And my honest answer was no.
Yep.
Like I
Especially
I
when
would
you think
prefer.
you're spending $8 on it.
Yeah, it's like, well, this thing is it worth double the price, and does it taste that much better? If anything, it tastes worse. Like actually, what I love about the States is sweet tea. I love sweet tea.
I'm not a fan.
Love it. My favorite thing.
I like iced tea. Good host.
Even iced tea. I love iced tea.
Yeah.
Brisk, man. Nest tea at least. But I love iced tea. I love like Dr. Pepper, Diet Dr. Pepper.
Yep.
Live on that stuff. But I'm sitting there, I'm like, hey, is this really that much better?
Diet root
The
beer,
A&W? Ooh,
So
good
good.
stuff. I'm just like, I just couldn't honestly say that it was any better than a Coke.
Yep.
So whatever, drop mom off, go home. I just kind of sat there and like I used to have like you've seen my whiskey cabinet.
Yeah, I got a
I had a
couple.
lot
I
of
got a couple
whiskeys. Exactly. So did Devin, right? Like
Yeah.
I had probably about 60 bottles at the
Yep.
peak of the collection. A lot of really rare ones.
Yep.
I was kind of sitting there looking at it and I'm like,
Did you ever try Pappy Van Winkle?
I had the 15 year.
Did you?
Yeah.
Nice.
It was very, very good.
I bet.
George T. Stagg is better for my money though.
Okay.
Yeah. If I'm going to spend $500 on a bottle, George T. Stagg.
Nice.
They have it in Calgary.
Okay.
There's a place you can get it and it's
Well, I found Blanton's at the border, $150 US for a regular
Rip off.
Blanton's.
Rip
When
off.
it's here, it's $69.
Did you ever try some of that Blanton's Gold that I had?
No,
It's good. A
Yeah.
little higher proof.
Blanton's just good.
Blanton's
I
just
love
good
Blanton's.
whiskey. But yeah, so then like it's kind of like it's just not worth it. I'm just drinking it for the taste. And at the point, and it was kind of this thing that was eating in the back of my mind because at that point it kind of like, okay, like, I'm gonna give this strength athlete thing like one more run.
Yep.
That was like for provincials 2024. I was like, I'm gonna give this powerlifting thing one more run.
Yep.
And it was kind of just like eating at the back of my head where I'm like, I'm doing everything else except this.
Yep.
And I'm drinking it because it's for taste. I think maybe have like 2 ounces a week.
Yep.
Like it wasn't. I would have like a drink on Saturday night when I was watching a movie. But it was just like it just didn't sit right with my goals.
Right.
Where I'm like, this just doesn't line up with what I'm trying to do.
Yep.
And I'm not a hypocrite.
Right.
So to me, it felt wrong. So just give it up.
Yeah.
So like if I ever went back to Scotland or something, if I got to go to Scotland or something like that, like I'd probably have a glass or two.
Yeah.
Just because like I appreciate it. And like if you could make me a non-alcoholic thing that tasted like Lagavulin 16 tomorrow, I'd be your number one customer. But I just can't justify the trade-off that even a little bit of alcohol does for like one night of sleep.
Yeah.
It's one of those small, like, oh, it's only one night. It's one thing. I'm like, but like, it's a simple trade-off that is not that hard to make.
Right.
And if I can be a little bit better from that one night of sleep and just be a little bit better,
Right.
I will be.
Yeah.
So to me, it was that easy.
Yeah. I think the last time I got drunk was my cousin's wedding in the summer. Last summer.
You're telling me you weren't drunk when you lit that burn pile on fire?
No, I was definitely drunk then.
Yeah, you were definitely.
Okay,
I'd
that was
hope
the
you were
last time I
drunk.
got drunk,
I'd hope you were drunk.
Not as drunk. I got really drunk at my cousin's wedding.
Yeah.
That one I stayed under control. I didn't want to die. Apparently, I did want to die.
Yeah, it was pretty close. I'll put that clip up.
Yeah,
at some
and then
point.
after that, once OSG prep started really heavy, it was pretty much no drinking. And
I think
then,
it's a pretty common thing.
Yeah.
But you
And it
don't
was
drink
like-
a ton.
no, I collect. I'm a collector. I've got.
Well, no, you were very happy when I gave you a couple of bottles. What did I
Yeah.
give you? I gave you the Ron Swanson one, the Nick
remember.
Offerman. I gave you a couple. But
There's a couple, yep.
no, I know
They're in the collection.
Devin's still mad at me for giving him bottles. He's just like, you won't take money, you're gonna take whiskey. He's like, fine.
Yeah, he likes his whiskey. Yeah.
He does like his whiskey. And like whiskey's great, but it's just one of those things. Just, I don't know. Didn't fit with what I was trying to do, and I just don't see a point in starting again.
Yep. Yeah, what I had at Parlay there, that was the most I drank in a very long time. I had 2 or 3 beers, and they were going down good.
Even there, like they had the non-alcoholic beer they had was really good.
Right.
And like that's the thing where like now I can get Guinness 0.
Yep.
I'm like, great, I don't have to give up Guinness.
Yep.
I don't have to give up beer. It's great. I can have that.
Yep.
The non-alcoholic whiskeys do suck.
I didn't even know that was a thing. Apple juice.
No, it's just bad.
Just bad.
It's just bad. It tastes like the worst bottom shelf swill whiskey you've ever had in your life. It's not enjoyable.
No. Do not recommend.
No, don't. There are other.
Don't sponsor.
No,
the
there
pod.
are some good spirits. Like I mean, I have a friend who had like a non-alcoholic gin.
Oh yeah.
And I'm not a huge gin guy,
I don't mind a good gin.
but they're pretty
cheap gin or not,
decent.
yeah.
Like some of the non-alcohol because it's just botanicals.
Yeah.
That's all it is, right?
Yeah.
So that's a little more. It's not relying on the aging. I mean, it's the aging spirits. Those are the ones that start to. Like, there are even some good like Blanco tequilas that are non-alcoholic, but it's like
that's one thing
I'm
I
not a
don't
tequila
like
guy
there
either. I like a good margarita, like a proper margarita, just like tequila, triple sec. That's it.
Yeah. Mexico, I'll drink tequila all the time.
Yeah,
Sure.
but again, like as soon as you rely on the wood aging, that seems to be what gets you.
Right.
So, we did promise people a 2-hour episode. So
Where are we at?
we're at 100 hour and 41.
Holy.
I did want to quickly touch on the
HQ?
log lift today.
Oh,
Actually, no, you know what? Yeah, let's go back to Rogue HQ because
that was fun.
well, so yeah, we went to Rogue HQ. It's a good thing neither of us drove a truck because I honestly think
a bit too-
Tom would have spent everything he had.
Yeah. Yeah. Some money.
But
like a kid in a candy
wow,
store.
what an experience that is. I mean, like they've got some really cool stuff.
The warehouse just goes for
it's
miles.
Huge. I wish you could take pictures in the warehouse because like just the scale of it. I work in a warehouse and like that was massive.
Yeah.
That was insane.
That's all strength toys.
Yeah, it's just as far as I can see, it's just toys for building strength.
Yeah.
It was fun to play with those replica Dinny stones, even though I had them backwards. Apparently, the heavy one's supposed to be in front. I did break the ground, Jeffers. Didn't extend it, but whatever. I got it off the ground.
No
It's
straps.
kind of cool. No straps. Tyson. Kept a shirt on. Tyson.
Yeah. Tyson wants us to video him in one day. So.
I didn't leave my hoodie there. Tyson.
And then go to England.
Yeah,
Tyson.
he lost his hoodie somewhere. Tyson. And so, but that was fun. And then, yeah, like we're just looking at all the stuff. I think I spent so much time just clanking those deep dish plates back and forth together. I'm just
so
like, this
nice.
is so nice.
Yeah.
Just cling, cling.
So
and I found out
nice.
they had the 100 pounds, and it's just like, oh yes, this is perfect.
Yeah.
And I would like several sets of those. I think Tom wants a couple sets of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's really thinking about it. But
That's got to be put in a separate room, though, just for us to use.
that's what I was gonna say. I need those like in a separate area. 100-pound plates, like weld those to a bar.
Yeah.
Just weld them to a bar. You can't use them. Yeah. But yeah, that was really cool. There's a lot of fun toys there. I know Shelby and Joss really enjoyed the body tempering.
It was heavy.
Just put a 110-pound roller on their back.
Steel tube. Well, it would have been solid.
Justin said it felt amazing.
Yeah.
Shelby was more just mad at me.
Yeah.
But yeah, Joe really liked it. I liked those things. I've used them in the past. It's kind of gimmicky, but like it works. It feels nice. So it's pain relief, right? It's like, hey, I'm prepping. It's not recovery. It's pain management.
Yeah.
Just remember that, right? Has a time and place. Same with foam rolling, massage guns, that kind of stuff. But yeah, we spent.
It just ended up the meeting place for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people came by. Jackie and Aaron brought these cinnamon buns.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They gave them all to me, and then Josh was
like,
I can't let Gord eat all these.
They were like croissants.
Yeah.
Those, like, oh my god, I don't know. I have to message them where they got those. 'Cause I'm going there next year. Those were amazing.
Yeah, it was some little bakery.
Yeah. No, those were phenomenal. I hope it's still there.
I got the
next year.
sandwich, the ham and cheese sandwich. Oh.
Yeah,
Wow.
I wanted sweets.
It was a croissant. I had it everywhere. My shirt was
that's the
covered
thing. I
in
felt kind of bad because I'm like spilling all over the Rogue store.
I had to pull over, get out of the car, shake my sweater off because I had just cleaned the car. It was like immaculate.
It was immaculate. I will say though, you might be the only person I've ever seen stop on a road trip for a car wash. I've never heard of someone doing that.
Yeah,
You're just like, what a car wash? I'm like, what?
Car's clean. Truck's
My truck's driving you insane right now, isn't it?
kind of.
Yeah. I'll wash it.
I only had to stick my head in there a couple times, change that fuel pump. I'm like, I gotta help this guy. Is there any fries left in that bag?
Yeah, exactly. No, I'll get her washed.
I got a set of wagon wheels out of it.
Yeah, there you go. But no, yeah, I mean those. Well, and you got the right ones.
Yeah,
They brought the
almost
wrong
got the
ones
wrong
out.
ones. Yeah,
good catch on
$600.
the weight though.
Yeah,
that was
the only thing that caught me was the price. And I'm like, no, dude. And I look, I'm like, well, they're only 45 pounds. I'm like, can you open the box and show me? It's like, what do you mean? And then he pulls it up on the computer. I'm like, yeah, no, I don't want those ones. I want the
that's weird though. Those steel ones because there is steel in those ones
for sure. Yeah, it's rubberized steel.
So I'm not sure why they would cost
Fancy.
more. And those ones have those ones have like machined out divots for your
prettier,
hands and stuff. They're way prettier.
And they used to be They were $610 US.
Oh, I know.
Because I priced them out. They were
way
just short of
cheaper.
$1,000 for me to get them here.
Yeah.
And
Well,
then
no,
I thought,
they went down in price because when Tom bought them, they were about 700 Canadian, I think.
Okay.
And then it went down again.
Yeah, they're 300 US.
Yeah, really good price. So that was worth the trip alone, honestly.
100%, yeah.
Save the shipping on those
Fitting
things
them
too.
in the car and everybody else's stuff was a
Yes,
little bit tricky.
I appreciate you. Love you. But my giant roller Cerberus rolling
And then
bag.
he sticks like
That
3
thing
cases
was
of energy
that thing
drinks
was
in there.
amazing. I love that bag. Everything. It's ridiculous, but like I rolled it behind me the whole way from the hotel. It's amazing. Love that thing. We'll never.
Nice, yeah.
I love that bag. Josh is making fun of me for the size of it, but I love that thing. I love that bag. It's
Literally
great.
fit a body in there.
Literally, if I had to. We were
class
joking
athlete.
that Carrie could fit.
Yeah, she for sure
She
would. Yeah.
absolutely would fit. I have to
would
bend her
chew her
legs
way out, though.
somewhere. Oh, yes. She'd get very angry.
Angry woman.
I'll just give her a couple of rum and cokes in there. She'll be happy.
Yeah. Once she hit the Young LA booth there for
Yeah,
the beers, she
exactly.
was just
Swing by the
happy.
Rung LA booth. You're good
I'm
to
like,
go.
well, they're giving away liquor?
But no, because the thing is, it was there to sell all weekend, but all their clientele is 12,
Right.
so they can't drink.
So they couldn't sell it.
Yeah, they couldn't sell it, so they just give it away. Yeah, exactly. That's how it works.
That was the only good thing that came out of Young LA.
Oh, yeah. I mean, for those of you who weren't there, the Young LA booth was
Broccoli-headed kids.
just giant, and the whole weekend, all you could hear was.
We were warming up for Yoke. Did I tell you this story? We were warming up for Yoke, and then this one guy, all of a sudden, this like line of kids comes and like right into where we're running Yoke, and they're following some fitness influencer. He was trying to sneak out the back authorized personnel only door. The kids just didn't care. There had to have been 50 of them that just pushed as a mass right through that door. And I'm like, what is the world coming to? Like some YouTuber they didn't give two shits of who stood in their way. They are pushing through and they are like, ah.
Well, like, the thing that makes it disappointing for me, and I made the comment, is like, I met John Hack.
Yep.
There were 6 people waiting for John Hack.
Yep.
A guy named Togi, who just, his whole thing is blasting tren, not working out, and gambling his life savings away.
Yep.
There's a 2-hour line to meet the guy.
Yep.
I'm like, where did we go wrong?
Yeah, John Hack's probably one of the best powerlifters to ever live.
Yeah. But even like the line to meet those guys was longer than the line to meet like Mike O'Hearn.
Yeah.
He's the original meme.
Yeah.
Like, go see Mike O'Hearn. But you know what's frustrating about that guy is like, he's a charlatan. He's a fake natty. Absolutely. Everyone knows this.
No, he's natty.
Yeah, sure. You cannot get a bad picture of the guy.
No.
Like, through,
He's a beautiful
you're
man.
40 feet away from him,
Yeah.
through a crowd of people. He's been there all day, on his feet, sweating. You snap a picture while walking, it's blurry, and somehow he's just gorgeous.
Yeah.
It's like, man, Botox is a beautiful thing. but-
Botox, yeah.
Wow.
Or collagen. He probably eats collagen.
Duck eggs.
Takes collagen.
Duck
or
eggs.
something. Duck eggs?
Duck eggs.
Okay.
Yeah.
They have extra collagen in them?
No, but it makes your body produce natural tren.
Okay.
Yeah.
Duck eggs it is.
Duck eggs it is.
We're blasting duck eggs, boys.
Duck eggs. But yeah, that booth just, I hope it's not there next year.
That was that was a bad decision. The most obnoxious booth in the place next to
A competition.
where you actually have to hear your ref commands.
They should have had that,
That one
booth
just
tucked
was like,
away in a corner or something. Or honestly, just don't allow it.
Yeah.
Because like I
about
guarantee you, that's why Alpha Elite and Gymshark and those other places weren't there. Because you have young LA taking up 90% of the area. Like it was ridiculous.
It took up probably a
It's
third
probably
or more of that quarter of the building.
I'd say it was an eighth of the building probably. By the time they had all the lines and stuff, it was crazy.
Lamborghinis in there. And
Yeah, just ridiculous.
It's a little bit much, yeah.
Wasn't really a huge fan of that booth. I know Tom and Matt got their shirt because Tom was just like watching the strongman and just kind of inching through the line.
Yeah,
got his free shirt and then dipped out. And he's like, I don't really care about this free shirt, but I'm here. I may as well get it.
Yeah.
So he's just like inching through the
Take
line.
anything
He's like
He
shuffling.
a handful of pins.
So no, yeah. So then at the end of the day, he texts me. He's like, the Arnold merch booster of free for all. I'm like, get me a 3XL. He just grabs the 3XL, like rips it out of some lady's hands. When he came back, he's got like a handful of pins from the Arnold UK 2024. He's got like multiple different shirts. Like 2 of them are sizes he can't even wear.
If it ain't bolted down, Tom's taking it. He's
it was
proved that
funny.
time and time again.
Oh, it was funny. And we have, and then like we had the amount of reins that we had between the group of us. Because like basically I had that fanny pack, which you've joined Team Fanny Pack.
Team Fanny Pack.
Take that, Joss.
I had all kinds of snacks in there. I had a honey
So
bun in
good.
there.
But so we're walking through. I had my backpack. Shout out Circuit Humfor for the backpack.
With stitching that can handle about 80 pounds.
Yeah, honestly, that's a shout out to the circuit bags.
Yeah.
Because wow,
Stress test, yeah.
Basically, I'd go through. I'd get a rein. Shelby gets a rein. Tom gets a rein. They dump theirs in their backpack. I dump mine in my fanny pack. We go to the next line. I get a rein. Shelby gets a rein. Tom gets a
Saturday
rein.
they were
dump in the
opening them, though,
backpack.
right?
Saturday they were opening, but Sunday they realized
get
they
rid
had
of them.
enough,
Yeah.
so they were just getting rid of them.
Yeah.
And then we're waiting for the mountain. And we were there for like an hour and a half waiting for them because someone like they lost the mountain, and they just kept on coming through with flats. And I had the backpack on my feet, and they're like, "Oh, you guys want to try one?" I'm like, "Yes."
Absolutely.
So they come back.
what
All
is
three
that?
of us
Yeah.
would grab. It's like I don't care. Just grab. So the bag's just full.
Yeah.
And I had enough to make a pyramid that the base was like 4 across by 5 deep or something.
Nice.
It was pretty awesome. So those will last me for quite a while. And then, well, you drove home, but we went to West Side.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, West Side.
Man.
Yeah, and I missed
Have
out
you been there?
No.
Okay, next year you're coming.
Okay.
Because it was almost like a religious pilgrimage.
Yep.
Like you walk in there and like the first
touch
thing,
everything.
well, the
Yep.
first thing they have is they've got like the record board from the old gym. They cut it out and they mounted it.
Yep.
And it's all like sealed. So it's like there.
Yeah.
They have like a wall of death, and you've got like all the people who've passed away, and
Right.
all of the reverence and stuff. So you got like Louis front and center.
Yeah.
And it comes from like the Russian thing where like coaches are held in high reverence. So he has the biggest spot.
Yeah.
But then they've got like the famous shoes with like the bar and the platform like right there in the lobby.
Yeah.
You got like the kennel that Louis' dogs used to be in.
Yeah.
It's got, so Louis Simmons used to keep, this is wild because when you think of Louis Simmons, what do you think of? From like Louis, looking at Louis.
Yeah. Tattoos.
Right, you think tattooed old guy, grizzled,
Cranky.
right?
Yeah.
So he has this old scrapbook.
Yeah.
And he's like Polaroids from all his meets with notes. And apparently he used to do that before he figured it was bad luck because he kept on missing squats.
Okay.
But it's like Louis had the original Instagram.
Yeah.
He
Oh,
just
that's
took
true.
pictures
Yeah.
from all his meets and
Pictures
posted
with
recaps,
notes,
right? Sorry to my fans.
Yeah.
But the man was majestic.
Oh, he was.
Like he had long, flowing hair, handlebar mustache, and this. It's like Louis was gorgeous.
Work harder.
Like what? Yeah. But it's like you look at these pictures, like I've never seen young Louis Simmons.
Yeah. Did you watch the West Side Barbell documentary?
Yeah, many times.
Yeah.
That's when I decided I liked Shelby.
But there wasn't a lot of video from that era,
no,
like of
so-
when he was young.
Exactly. But that's when I decided I liked Shelby. As I came home and she was watching it.
Oh yeah.
I was like, I'll keep this one.
This one's good. Yeah. She's like, I don't know what channel it was on. I just started watching
Yeah,
it.
one of her friends found out she was in the gym and just suggested she watch it. And I'm like,
Yeah.
where did your friend find this? Like,
Yeah.
what? But so, and then like they had like Louis' squat suit that he squatted like 900 in when he was 72 years old or something like that. Like, and then you go in the back and it's like, yeah, they have everything. So like the guy was saying, oh yeah, like, this is the bench that the guys used to fist fight over. So of course Tom and I are like, we have to bench on this. So we actually did record a thing fist fighting. So I'll come back to that. So like, cause whatever, I just worked out. I hit like a 455 single. I messaged Guy before we go. I'm like, are you gonna be mad if I go to West Side without you? He's like, a little bit, but please do. So I go, I'm sending him videos. I'm like, I had to do it. It felt right. Just maxing out my bench. He's like, honestly, I do the same thing.
Yeah, 100%, yeah.
And then so we recorded. I was like, okay, Tom, like go sit on the bench and just like walk and be like, what a great day to bench. And I didn't realize how echoey it was in there. So the audio's not great. Right. I'm gonna see if I can like tune it up. But like Tom just walks over. He's like, what a great day to bench. And he sits down. I'm like, not so fast. I grab him, punch him down. And then when he falls back and he's flailing, he knocks the bar out onto his chest. It's like, I'll show you the clip. It's great.
Yeah.
And then, but yeah, so we got to try that. We tried some grip implements. Like they have one of those crusher machines that the plates are welded on. So it's like, this is the minimum. I love that. All the plates are welded on. Yeah. Tried that. We tried the RDL where it ramps away from you. So the top you're holding in front. That thing's brutal. I tried the famous treadmill where like they took the motor off it and it just doesn't move. So they couldn't do sled work outside because it was raining. They do it on that. Yeah. And then I used like the original reverse hyper with the 100-pound plates welded to it. Yeah. So like it was just this insane experience of like, I'm actually here.
Nostalgia.
Yeah, you're like, you're looking at some of these bars, you're just like, man, like how many? And like, I take a shot because a lot of the MPA guys like to focus on, I got my Odyssey bench mat or whatever. And they're putting it on a competition bench and saying, oh, this bench is too slippery. I'm like, it's comp spec. Yeah. And then I'm looking at that bench. I'm like, dudes used to fist fight over this bench. Yeah. It is worn. It is slick. It is thin. It's too low. Yeah. It's literally the hooks are bolts, like 5/8 bolts. Really? And I'm like, dudes used to bench 1,000 pounds in a shirt in this rack. Yeah. And you're like, so I took a couple shots. I'm just like, oh, like no bench mats in sight. You know? But like, yeah, it actually was a really comfortable bench. Yeah. But I'm like, yeah, like it was pretty surreal to be there. Like Shelby was like, I have to get involved. So she just like picked up a deadlift just because she wanted to. She's like, I have to do something, right? Yeah. But yeah, like Mac, shout out Mac there. He was awesome. He knew Sam from Rogue. So we're like, Sam from Rogue says hi. He's like, no way. But so he did give us the invite to come back next year and train. Okay. So I told Guy, I'm like, you got to come. We're going to squat at West Side. Yeah. Multiply. That'd
be fun. Mono.
Yeah. Well, they have like the original mono lift. Like the original mono lift. Yeah. Like it was very, very cool.
Yeah, because I think Louis started the monolift, didn't he?
I think it was his invention or very close. Yeah. But they have like, this thing's seen some shit.
Oh yeah, I don't doubt that.
It's awesome. So, and they showed us like the pro athlete side too, where they've got like basically a lot of the similar stuff, but just like the newer, nicer versions. Right. It's kind of the powerlifting side and the athlete side. Right. So it was pretty cool.
It's still a public gym though, or like semi-private, I guess.
Semi-private. Yeah. Basically, the athletes don't go to the powerlifting side. Okay. It's kind of the rule, but it's cool too because you show up and there's no signage. Right. Anywhere. It's just like, you know where you are. Yeah. Like, that's pretty cool. I like that. The only thing that's annoying is that if you punch it into Uber, it takes you to the original West Side location, which is about 1.5 kilometers down the road. Okay. So we had to get another Uber to go to the new location. That kind of sucked, but whatever. Yeah. Then flew back and it was good. Except all the Delta flights, I thought they were going to flip the plane.
You never know when you're going to land upside $30,000.
Honestly, yeah. It was, that'd be nice. That'd be nice.
Guaranteed to live? All right.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because I was talking to, I can't remember his name. There's a big Masters guy from North Dakota area, I think. Okay. But he actually was in talks with Tyler to come up as a sub for Western Canada's strongest master. Okay. Real strong dude, big guy. But then Tom took a picture a couple of rows back, and he's like, that beverage dolly doesn't stand a chance because you can see we're talking, and there's about this much space between our shoulders and the aisle. So that was fun, but that was good. Good trip overall. And then, came back. We've been pretty much resting. You tried a little training, didn't feel great. No. And then kind of
tried some log.
You tried the log today. It didn't work out.
That was just for fun. That was a game time decision. If I was going to do anything, my hips were on fire, and just like I wasn't into it.
Compete.
But it meant nothing to me, so I didn't care.
Yeah, but you and Joe went out, did the thing. And I think too, it's important you guys are out at those events when you can be. I had to work, otherwise I would have been there. Yeah, but that you guys are respected people in Manitoba Strongman. I think it's important for you to be out. Yeah. But I mean, shout out Shelby, put out
Yeah.
140-pound log, ugly. She had it much nicer here before we recorded the last podcast. But
Yeah.
you know what I was telling her too? I'm like, you were just at the Arnold last weekend. You
you gotta
haven't
do the
really
stuff.
had the training stuff. Like it is what it is. I would have liked to have
And it's
had her
different
hit.
for that first time you're in front of people.
Yeah, well, I would have liked to have had her hit like one more heavy session, probably on, like the Friday, Saturday.
Yeah.
But it just didn't happen because the Arnold.
Yeah.
Right. And then this week, by the time we got back, we were all just feeling like crap. She didn't get any reps in. It's like, well, yeah, you feel like crap, just rest.
Yeah.
So, I mean, not ideal conditions. Still hit a PR. Very proud. Adam didn't bother to try. Just smoking reps.
Yeah, he was doing good. He was having a day.
I think he had 165 in him, honestly, the way it looked. It was crazy. He at 155?
I believe so, yeah.
155 or 150.
I was across there. I was warming up still
Yeah,
when he was
but
going.
he was crushing reps, so shout out Adam. I
Michelle had a
know
good
Michelle
day
had a real good
post-op,
day,
yeah.
and that must mean a lot to her post shoulder surgery.
Yeah.
because that's like that's hard to come back from. But she's been crushing her rehab, and pressing seems to be going in the right direction based on that.
Doing less dumb shit. Michelle.
His words, not mine, Michelle.
We've been bugging lately about who's going to do dumber shit. She's like, do you know you need a rest now? Like, yes, I know I need a rest now. Okay,
Figured it out.
relax.
There
Yeah.
you go. Yeah, pretty.
It was a fun day.
Yeah, weren't a ton of other standout performances I can think of. I know Jeremy hit a 5-pound PR.
Yep.
Martin got the big dog log.
Martin had the standout performance of the day.
Also, Martin, what the heck, man?
He's a big dog.
No, but he goes and presses the big dog log
Yeah.
like an opener.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you teasing us for, man?
Yeah. Put some weight on the bar.
Yeah, I told him, go 255. Ask Tyler for a 4th attempt. We'll give it to you.
Oh, 80 given it to him. Yeah.
That's the big jerk. Like, just hit something.
Yeah.
He's like, no, that'll come. I'm like, no, do it now. He didn't even struggle.
Peer pressure.
He got it up and just boop. It's like,
Yeah. No,
this
that
is the
was-
log you've been
That was the
terrified
cleanest.
of?
Yeah, the cleanest rep he's hit in a while.
That was the cleanest rep he's hit ever. Like, it was,
He was
didn't
showing video
try.
of him missing a clean at 230 last week or week before or
But
something.
that's how fatigue works.
Yeah.
Right? And you peak.
Yeah.
It works.
Yeah.
But I think Martin, it makes me happy to see how much Martin's improving.
Oh, yeah. He's having fun doing it.
Yeah, he's having fun doing it, and it's like, and he's losing weight. He's getting
Yeah.
stronger.
Yeah.
Like that dude is going to have, and he's just so positive in his outlook. Like he's got the right mindset to improve.
Yeah.
So I think he's going to continue to improve a lot.
For sure.
I know there's a lot of people from the novice show who were there, hitting some good numbers. Because I ran that clinic with Tyler, so I recognized quite a few of them.
Okay.
Good
Yeah.
numbers. Everyone seemed looking really good. That one smaller woman was just crispy, clean split jerks.
Yeah.
Wow, really impressive. I don't know. Unfortunately, like I just wasn't gonna do it. I know you bugged me, but
Whatever. Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah,
I wasn't gonna max out log twice in 2 weeks. That just wasn't
Yeah.
gonna happen. And I got stuck at
shouldn't
work
have.
anyways. Yeah, you shouldn't have. But well, you didn't. You
I
didn't.
didn't.
You
Yeah.
didn't.
255.
You
and
gave
I'm
up
like,
pretty quick.
Yeah. Hit the one there, and I'm like, nah, this is not feeling good today.
And then, but I know like myself, Tyler, Dan couldn't do it. But I think like Dan's cooking something.
Yeah.
He's got to be cooking something because he hasn't really posted. He doesn't post anything.
Yeah.
Post your training, Dan. Hashtag.
All y'all.
All y'all except Garrett. You get 2.
Yeah. He's got his two.
He's done good. He's done good. He's toned it down.
His running and singing one there. That was pretty good.
You know, you might have a rival for voice of an angel.
I know. Garrett's,
You have to worry about that.
Yeah, he changes gears, and he can really
He
spout
can,
it
he can
out.
belt it.
Yeah.
I want to hear some Adele next time, Garrett.
Yeah,
Serenade me with Adele.
serenade us.
While running. Imagine Adele while running. Those are some notes to belt. Like, just like, hello from the other side.
Yeah.
While you're trying to run. Like, oh my
Yeah.
goodness. That's terrible.
Frick. Challenge issued.
Yeah. Okay, well, with that, we
that's
promised you 2 hours. We are at 2 hours and 2 minutes.
Yep.
Love you all. Until next time.
Yeah, baby.